My name is Curtis, also known as MMRPGRS on Twitch, and I stream mostly Iron Man-based content, and also been jumping on the Deadman mode tournament and seasons as well. Deadman mode is a PvP-based game mode where everybody starts an account from scratch. It's then in a dangerous world where anyone can get killed, and if you do die, it's very, very harsh. You'll lose XP, your bank, but if you do kill people, it is very rewarding, because you can use that for your personal gain.
The Deadman game mode, it's a wonderful amalgamation of MMORPG progression and really harsh death mechanics. Two things which should probably never go together, but because no one's really tried it before, it's made it this really wonderful, exciting game mode that people really engage with.
Deadman game mode, as many players as you can fit into as many worlds as we can get. Mass scale PvP, everyone versus everyone, fights to the death.
So I am Nightinator. I am a Twitch streamer who has been streaming RuneScape for the past 6 months to a year, and I've been playing the game for just under 13 years now. Deadman is something I shouldn't play. It is a battle of wits and luck and PvP action, which I'm terrible at, but for some reason it draws me back every time.
So my name is Ian, Twitch streamer for old school RuneScape known as Pure Spam, and I'm also a caster for the Deadman mode events for the past year or two. So to me, Deadman mode is the most high adrenaline PvP situational game type in old school RuneScape, and every single season it gets better and better.
My name is Sick Nerd, also known as Adam. It's just really exhilarating playing Deadman mode because you're always on edge, so it's just really entertaining.
Deadman mode was awesome for Twitch and live streaming as well when it first came out. Very, very addicting, very fun. You'd used to put in hours and hours per day because it was just that intense as well.
I've been playing RuneScape now since I was around 11, I don't know, since about 2003 on and off, and I've always been PvP orientated. So a lot of the people that I play with, I've played with for like 5+ years now in PK situations. So Deadman mode, specifically PvP related, I can play with those friends in that atmosphere and just sit down for 10-hour sessions at a time playing together. It's really fun.
We formed a team, and having all of those people, we'll be staying up till 6 in the morning on TeamSpeak or Discord, training our stats together, questing together, making sure we're safe in the world and stuff, and just having that community aspect, and then also the influx of viewers that you get on Twitch when you're streaming it. It's really good content to watch, especially if you're PKing. That makes it all the more enjoyable.
That if you are planning on starting Deadman mode, that you get in there right at the very beginning. The first day is the most important, and everything can change, so get playing immediately.
So for me, the strategy of Deadman mode is trying to get as ahead as I can, so playing for 30 hours on the first day to try and just grind out my stats as high as I can, and then go on an absolute rampage, killing every player I can find, because it's all about the PvP aspect.
My recommendation for people starting Deadman mode this summer season would be to get your Dragon Defender as fast as possible. Teams love taking control of the Warriors Guild, and the later you leave it, the harder it's going to be.
When people start playing Deadman mode, the first thing they want to do is they want to start protecting themselves. They want to start choosing what skills they want to work on. Get your defense level up, because the more defense level you've got, the better your chance of surviving as well. So make sure your account isn't easily killable, because if somebody sees you out in the wilderness where you are at risk and they can kill you nice and easily, they will.
If you're new to Deadman mode and you played RuneScape before, stick with what you know. Enjoy yourself, that's the most important thing. It's a game, you know, play it for fun. But I'd say try and stick to the safe zones. Don't do anything too dangerous. If you die, you'll set back a lot. So just make sure you've got a plan going into the game and just enjoy it.
Players can sign up for the new season by visiting oldschool.runescape.com. Just sign up, create your account, become a member, and start straight away.
How's it going, guys? And welcome to the Old School RuneScape Deadman Finals. Woo! Give it up. We're here to watch the top 2,000 Deadman players fight for a shot at $32,000, our biggest prize pool yet. We're here in beautiful Leicester to see ESL UK Studio One's studio. So what they've done here is absolutely phenomenal. But we're joined with an even more beautiful audience. Give it up, guys. So I'm going to quickly join my co-host and casters over here, as I'll be your main host today, Maud Archie. And joining me is my co-host.
Hello.
Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
It's an absolute pleasure. How is everyone doing? This audience is so lively today.
It's awesome.
All right. Switching mics. Here we go. So we've also got 4 live streamers playing on stage, some very familiar faces. These guys, they've all been here before, actually. Fantastic. So we'll get to those guys very momentarily, but first things first, let's talk briefly about what exactly Deadman mode is. Because we have to understand, with so many viewers right now on Twitch, some people might be a little bit new. Sick Nerd's such a loud one, isn't he? So Deadman mode is essentially old school RuneScape completely flipped upside down. It is the essence of what old school RuneScape is, but completely opposite. So it's dangerous everywhere. You can lose your items, not just in your inventory, but also in your bank. You can also lose your stats, your hard-earned stats that took you months, or weeks at least, to earn, because the season is at least a month long, so there's that. And essentially, we let anybody participate. The top 2,000 players are then taken after that month, and we throw them into this tournament to fight for $32,000. So yeah, that is essentially Deadman. Do you guys want to get into a bit more of the kind of finer details?
Well, like you said before, in the past week, we've had a lot of members that have joined the game from scratch, from level 3. They've had to grind it out from Monday through to this Saturday final. And it's crazy how much time people are putting, because we've seen a lot of high levels, level 120 plus combats. People have really been sweat-festing this bad, because they want a chance to win that $32,000. And I can't wait to see how it turns out.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely incredible. Like Ian said, people have been putting incredible hours into this one. We've seen people with 99 in all melee stats. If anyone is new watching the stream, basically what that means is they've put so much time and effort into it that they've achieved the highest possible level in their respective melee stats that can possibly be achieved. So, yeah, we've got some incredible participants this tournament. I think it's going to make for an amazing spectacle, and I'm very excited.
Yes. Samad Sween, the main man behind kind of developing, and also you had some really fantastic design input into this finale. Do you want to talk about the difference in this finale compared to the last one?
Yeah, so last season's, well, I guess pretty much since it began, we had one final area. It would all descend into lots of different hit splats. No one can really tell what's going on. So we had lots of feedback from the community about trying to make it more solo-based, which is, of course, at odds with an MMORPG, social-based. So what we've tried to do is work out how we can kind of keep the social clan element intact whilst, I guess, elevating the status of the solo player.
Yeah, one thing that you pointed out earlier as well, Swin, was obviously we've seen a massive change to how the ending's going to work. We're going to have the 2 final areas where we're going to see that big cluster, we're going to see that big clump. But once the top 64 players from each area are left, they're going to be taken to a 1v1 zone. And you quite rightly pointed out that obviously that gives a much greater scope for solo players to win, but simultaneously it also means that if a certain clan does dominate, even with the probability being so greatly lowered that they will, it speaks volumes about them as an organization, as a clan, and as PvP players for RuneScape.
Yeah, right. If anybody's unfamiliar with the format, essentially you've got 2 final areas. Survivors will then be teleported into a series of arenas to engage in 1v1 combat. So if the last 16 happen to be 16 members of the same clan, props to them. They managed to navigate all the challenges we've thrown at them, bested everybody else in multi and single combat. So I think they've earned their place there.
Yeah, and traditionally speaking, in previous Deadman tournaments, what we've done is we've taken the top 2,000 players and then just kind of thrown them all together into a mosh pit. And eventually there's one player left standing, and he walks away with a lot of money. This time around, with 2 separate final areas, dividing teams, as Matsween just said, completely in half, they're then going to go into a 1v1 stage. So we'll take the top 128 players, putting them into 64 1v1s that will separately go on. They'll take place. And after each stage of these 1v1s progress, we'll move on to the next one. So after you win a fight, your stats, or so your gear is all reset, so you get new food, etc. And you get to prep for your next fight your next opponent. And that is going to be absolutely incredible to watch. First time trying anything like that, can't wait.
Yeah, it's been something that's been suggested time and time again from not only members of the community, but also Jagex staff themselves. It's been like a huge brainstorm over the course of the last over a year now with the Deadman Mode Invitationals, and we've been looking for a way to allow solo players a greater scope of winning. And there's been all these radical suggestions where we have like a dual arena format, but we don't want to take away from the clan aspect of the game because it is integral to RuneScape, like Sween pointed out. It's a very social game. It is an MMORPG. But I think this one is just the perfect sort of medium between the two, and I think you guys have hit the nail on the head.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Well, we're very momentarily going to be queuing to, I believe, interviews with the live streamers, but as just kind of final moments before we hop into that, because we're jumping back right into the gameplay after that, actually, I believe. Anything more we can expect this season round, or this tournament rather? We've got the supply chest. Should we talk about those?
Yeah, supply chests are going to be put in at certain time zones in the game as it goes on. They'll be told to everyone in the game. Alerts will be given, and those supply chests will give you some kind of item or benefit, which will just give you more of a chance in the 1v1s to give you a little bit of more chance of winning. But also, obviously, they're going to be in multi-areas. They're going to be very dangerous to go for. If you go for these chests, all the other clans are going to go scouting you out as well, and it's a risk you've got to take, but with it comes a lot of reward. Do you want to talk about some of the supply chests that have been given?
Yeah, sure. So the kind of reason we introduced them is because we wanted to get away from, I guess, the cluster of damage we had in previous seasons. We wanted to make something more entertaining. So we used to encourage more combat. So the chests access like hubs of combat before the final stages of that. Equally, it's more of a spectacle. If you're following the journey of individual players going and getting some really cool items, then it's really entertaining to watch. Yeah. So we took a lot of feedback on that. We introduced loads of overpowered stuff. Feedback from. Okay. So yeah, initially we wanted to introduce some very overpowered stuff just to make it more of a spectacle. The feedback we got that wouldn't be fair on the competitors, so we scaled it back a bit. Then we took more feedback. So we wanted to introduce Armadillo, etc. People thought it'd be too overpowered, so now we scaled it down to kind of Barrows level gear. Essentially, anything in the chest. You might have been able to get it during the week. So I think we kind of stayed within our remit introducing this stuff.
Yeah, it also adds that really nice dynamic of high risk, high reward. Like you said, these chests are going to be dropped in dangerous areas. Everyone that's participating is going to be informed as to where that chest is going to be. So the players that do take the gamble, they want to go get that chest. They're also putting themselves at a massive risk of they go get it, they're risking their chances of getting a good item, but they're also risking their chances of completely dying and being eradicated from the game.
So, sorry to cut you off there, but real quick, the supply chests, one of the nice things about them, just to quickly mention, is that they'll actually provide some really fantastic entertainment early on. As we know with the Deadman Finals, is sometimes nobody really wants to fight for the first 30, 40 minutes even, and then finally towards the end we get all of the action. But this time around, it'll be consistent action. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys can cast. But I believe throwing things over now to interview the streamers. So let me just give you a quick introduction with who we're working with this time around. Starting off on the left-hand side, we have Manked Up Mage. Manked Up Mage, known as perhaps the best Deadman mode PKer of all time. He tells me he's never lost a 1v1 in Deadman mode. Extremely confident. Should easily be the last one standing on this stage. Following Manked Up Mage, we have MMORPG, the man with the juice. MMORPG, a true Deadman veteran. He's been playing time and time again, progressing further each time. He's got an incredible setup this time around. He's really used his game knowledge to benefit him here. I'm looking forward to seeing just how far he can make it today. Following MMORPG, we have Robert. Robert, one of the true OGs when it comes to Deadman, playing since the very first season, providing some of the best Deadman streams of all time, arguably. Running around with the DDS, killing absolutely everybody. Loved those streams. He then went on to place second in the first ever Deadman tournament, so he's a very strong competitor. And last but not least, we have Sick Nerd. Sick Nerd, having only played 3 days of the 5 days of this tournament, still has progressed extremely well. He's 116 combat, very impressive stats this time around. And yeah, let's actually ask Sick Nerd, how are you feeling going into this tournament?
I'm not very confident at all because I didn't have very long to play, but I'm going to last longer than Robert because he's terrible, so that's fine.
Now I'm watching you now. Are you Skulled?
Yes, I got a red key a minute ago. It was good.
So you're picking fights minutes before the tournament starts.
Content.
Respectable. Well, last question for you, actually. Out of the 4 on the stage, how do you think you're going to place today?
Honestly, probably like last, to be honest. I mean, I came 5th last time. I think it was sheer luck. This time I'm going to die first. I think Hacky's got $200 on my head, so you got to come kill me.
All right, well, best of luck in not placing last this time around. Robert, how are you feeling going into this tournament?
Quietly confident. I think I've got a half-decent strat, and we'll just see if I can make it to the 1v1s and then go from there.
Consistently speaking, you've progressed and you've played very well through every single Deadman tournament now. What do you think it is that gives you the edge over the other players?
Because I play a ridiculous amount of time on the game. It's pretty much it. You don't sleep, and then you're half decent at playing, you can get far. It's what most people do, but it's just something I really enjoy, so.
That's fair enough. And out of the 4 playing on stage, do you think you're going to place last?
I would hope not. I think I can make it to the 1v1s. That's the goal. If I die there and I'm last, I don't care, but I think I should not be the first one to die even.
I'd love to see you make it to the 1v1s. That sounds like content. Curtis, MMORPG, how's it going?
It is going very, very juicy.
Now, you have a very impressive account going into this tournament. How are you feeling?
This has been my best tournament yet. I mean, I had that Barrows look, put out that double chair, so pretty much hooked us up with the final gear, but I'm feeling like we can make it to the final area this time and actually do some 1v1 fights.
I saw you practicing some Zerker Tribrid fighting just before the tournament. The clicks were on point. How are you feeling going into those 1v1s? If you do make it, do you think you're going to start winning?
Well, in these Zerker fights, I died in every single one, so we'll see how it goes, Chris. The clicks are on point, but I'm not too sure if the skills are overall, but we'll see.
Okay, well, best of luck to you. And last, we have Manked Up Mage. I've hyped you up a little bit here. How are you feeling?
Good, I think, but I don't think much of my team are at the same spot as me, so it might be a bit interesting final. But I'm praying I can still make it there to the 1v1s.
Now, speaking of your team, I know these guys are playing solo, but actually, aren't you teaming up with Robert this time around?
Yes, I don't know. I think he's got a different ending though as well, so we won't be together for this, unfortunately. Okay. So I'm currently running through Edgeville. I'm probably going to get attacked by someone, but yeah.
And any hints to the strategy this tournament? Are you planning to do any slaying, or are you just playing it safe and staying alive?
Play it safe and try hide as long as possible and see what happens.
All right, well, thanks very much, guys. Best of luck in the tournament. And very shortly, you'll be able to see a 1-minute countdown as we progress into the Deadman Winter Finals. I'm going to throw things back over to the hosts and casters now, actually. We have Pure Spam, Skidler, Mod Sween, and Mod Aiza ready to take it away as soon as this timer finishes.
Emerges.
Yeah. Okay. So I wasn't expecting that at all, to be honest. I thought we were going to have to wait a few minutes for that first chest, but already we can see the combat ensuing. The chest has fallen. Looks like it's just south of the lumberyard in Varrock.
And I think the players in game as well were quite surprised to see it spawn there. They weren't expecting it from the reaction, and looks like they're already geared enough as it is. Taken out a few kills. Is that Moni there? One of the streamers that's live right now, potentially? I'm not too sure. I see the guy in game saying Moni, so he's dead for 29-19. Oh, no. That's the first death of the tournament, I'm pretty sure. He's out for the count.
Yeah, that was a big special attack, and that supply crate, like I said, I think that's taken everyone by surprise. Are we able to see who actually got the loot from that? I think
what the loot is as well.
There we go. He got the Aram's top, I think. Unless he's already got that, it's obviously hard to tell. But we've got another clan up here walking through.
Yep. So the first chest would have contained a Carol's top and an Aram's top. Previously, it was going to be full Armadillo, but we opted to change it for that. Rather than letting someone camp full gear, we thought we'd allow them to switch, and that way you still have to be pretty decent to get the switch off and actually put them into effect.
So we know it was Moni then that got the first supply chest.
I'm not entirely sure.
I just saw there that clan in the wilderness actually was spamming hashtag Ketchup Boys, one of the more prolific clans. Ex-Legends members, actually, who you might have heard of before from some existing viewers. And they've come in today with very, very high hopes of going really far. And we'll talk about some clans a bit later. Looking in Falador right now, and who are these guys? We've got a few names we can catch out here. But you guys are looking very, very well geared as well. So obviously, we said before, the 1v1 area is going to be very much giving solo players more of a chance to make it. But we don't want to take anything away from the clan sense in this minigame. And with Deadman mode, obviously being in a clan is very, very important. And you'll see here now, there are a lot of clans with 50, 100, even 200 members worth of alliances of the 700 plus people that are remaining.
So the players here are waiting the next supply chest. Everyone would have received a broadcast in-game stating where it will be. And that's what they're waiting for.
Okay, so that's why everyone's crowding around Falador Castle there, yeah.
Interesting to see. Like, I'm assuming they're all allied with one another, because otherwise we're expecting a bit of carnage to commence around the chest, unless they're waiting to see who gets it and trying to get their kill.
And Falador is obviously a multi-combat zone as well, so that could be absolute carnage. Another thing, obviously, to note, this is going to be relevant to both new viewers and pre-existing viewers, people that come in every 3 months and watch this tournament. There's going to be an enormous change that I don't think we've spoken about enough. So if you've watched previous iterations of the Deadman mode tournament, we have this huge final area where it's multi-combat. Everyone can attack everyone. You could have 10 people attacking one person. And these fights basically play out for normally around 45 minutes until there's one person standing. However, this time, we've tried to combat these dominant clans and try to give more scope and hope for solo players to take the victory. So we're going to have two final areas, both of which multi-combat. One's going to be just north of Falador, where the triangle of the statue is, which we've seen previously. It was actually in the first tournament we saw that. And then another one is going to be a very iconic clanning scene area, which is going to be Anakal, colloquially known as GDs or Greater Demons. So when we have everyone in those two places, it's going to be the last 64 of each final area, and they're going to be then taken to final zones where they will have to fight 1v1. So there's going to be 64 1 versus 1 fights until we see a last man standing. I think that's going to be a wonderful spectacle.
We just saw Mika there, who's allied with Lit, I believe, one of the bigger clans, Lethal Intentions, who have gone away before and actually taken some victories from the demo tournaments. Right now, obviously, in Falador, still waiting for that chest to drop. Bottom left of the screen right now, 2 minutes left until it does. And as I said before, Elliot, it will be in Falador in multi.
It will. Ben, what's going to be in the next chest that's going to drop? This is the second chest, correct?
It is indeed. However, this will be the accompanying set, so it will be the Aram skirt and the Carol skirt.
Okay.
Additional switches.
Yeah.
One thing I just want to point out, I've just noticed pop up on the screen. At Randalicious RS, I will win #DeadmanWinter.
He's actually playing, you know.
He is participating.
I've seen a
lot of Hexis members, typically known as a skilling clan, very efficient, not normally getting involved in PvP. Actually surprised to see
Not normally getting involved in the tournaments at all.
No, normally it's kind of like it takes away from their efficient play style. But actually, had a few conversations with Randy. And for him, this time, he wanted to see what it was like, see what it was about. Wanted to get a bit more of an experience. So going for the win, interestingly enough, I've seen a few very interesting tactics that he's put together.
Well, I imagine his knowledge of the game is fairly robust. Obviously, being the long-time player that he is, having such XP, such knowledge of the game, he's probably in a position whereby he could get some really high stats, get some really good gear. I saw actually something extremely clever that Sween pointed out to me earlier on in the day, where he was tweeting about how he was saving his gear.
I think that was UIEZA.
Yeah,
essentially, he was making use of the temple trekking minigame.
Exactly, yeah. So you can't actually do the minigame, but the adventurers that you can utilize within that minigame, you can gear them up with equipment and take it off them.
Yeah.
And just so happen to have geared it up with full Ariams, Dragon Med, Whip, and Ranger boots.
So he's fairly stacked.
I would assume so, yeah. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. Do I think he's in it to win it? I think he's in it to win it personally, but will he win it?
Well, he's actually teamed up with the Legends team too, obviously, and because being a skiller, this game mode, it starts from economy from scratch, level 3s from Monday onwards, have to train their accounts up. So being able to, get those chinchompers fast, get all those stuff for your clan is absolutely crucial for kind of spiraling yourself ahead, snowballing effect to make the strongest force. We have a splice drop actually dropping in 5 seconds now in Falador, and this clan here, who I believe is probably lit since we saw Mika at the east corner.
There it is. That animation's absolutely fantastic.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
That's props to Mod Rybe. That's fantastic work for us on Deadman Winter.
And how many items do you get from the supply crate itself?
So this one's just 2. So it's just a skirt and... Oh, do you mean like sets in general?
Yeah, sets in general.
First person, 1 set.
First person. I saw everyone actually nabbing that there. So if a lower leveled account actually grabbed one, that'd be kind of not the best strategy really for a clan, would it?
Absolutely not. And it also plays into something you're heavily invested in as well, right?
Yep.
You've got 100 people clicking that chest. Who gets it?
Paid. All about paid. I've been told not to talk about paid.
Did you have to? Can we just not go there for one day,
We have a tweet coming in from Hellcath. ESL Studio looking sick, excited for this final hour. Hashtag Deadman Winter if you'd like to participate on the Twitter feed as well. Thank you so much, Hellcath, for being here. And thank you everyone at home, as well, everyone at home watching, and everyone here that's come out to support today.
Wow.
I have Tartar up here as well. This looks like it is a lot of clans merged.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for my phone.
Do you want to
discuss
quickly,
this?
while there's not much going on, there's not much combat ensuing in the game, do you want to talk about predictions, our knowledge of what's been going on, how the clans have been taking their approach to the tournament, whether there's been alliances formed, their strategy in general?
So I've been reaching out to a few clans to try and find out some information about them, what their strategy has been throughout the week.
Yeah.
And I have a rumor going around right now. I can't confirm it because some clans like to throw out some propaganda to try and say that they're better than everyone else. But I've been told that a bunch of the clans, specifically Tartar, who are a World 45 clan specifically, they always play demo mode, very, very good at 1v1 scenarios. Execution used to be AC and Open CC, we've seen in the tournaments as well in previous iterations. We have CD, who stand for, I believe, critical damage. We also have DL, Divine Legion. We have Lit themselves, Lethal Intentions, who have taken some money in the past as well. We have OT, and we also have Kings, another multi-clan. All these teams have merged together potentially to form one massive 200-man clan to try and take out the main competition, and that being a combination of Fools and ex-Legends, now known as Door Closers.
Yeah, that's going to be something that's really interesting, and I think there's a really, really good reason that they've done this. So all of these clans that you've just mentioned, Ian, I don't want to talk down about them, but there's a lot of people in Legends or Door Closers and Fools that are absolutely incredibly talented when it comes to 1v1 combat scenarios.
But they've got to get into that final area and beat that 1 to 8 people left.
Exactly.
With a force as large as 200, if they clear out the Legends and the Fools and the other 1v1 smaller units, there's going to be no chance for them to get into that.
And that's not me saying that there are no people on the other teams that you've previously mentioned that aren't talented in 1v1 aspects. There certainly are, but I think there's a higher percentage of Legends or Door Closers members.
Is that Boaty casting in a Carol skirt there? Oh, he's not going to live that one down on the main live stream either.
Oh.
He's actually live too, if you want to go check out his stream at the same time. And currently going for kills, just trying to produce some content, same kind of idea as Sick Nerd, I believe.
So obviously we've got some really, really well-known content creators here. We're watching Adam currently, Boaty. We've obviously got the 4 streamers on the stage. We've got Manked Up Mage, Curtis, MMORPG, Robert, and Sick Nerd. What are your opinions on how far they're going to get in this tournament? Do you think they're going to get past the 1 to 8 stage? Do you think they're going to make it into the end? Adam blowing that guy a kiss. Look at that.
Well, talking about Manked Up Mage, first of all, he is my choice, who I'd say would go the furthest out of the 4 streamers on Rive right now.
I'm with you.
Also, he's actually teamed up with ex-Legends, now known as Door Closers, and the Fools squad.
Yeah.
But they've got about 40 to 80 people in total. So he's got a good chance of getting into that 1v1 scenario where he's going to do exceptionally well, and that's where he's based. He's also got 99 range, like really high magic, 99 defense, I believe, too. He's an absolute tank. We have Curtis, too. He's been doing some barrows, got some phenomenal gear. Not very used to the 1 versus 1 situations, but he's definitely able to do really well if he can get through that kind of clan area. We also have Robert. Again, he's just 120 plus combat. They've all been absolutely destroying the whole week. So
one thing that actually really stood out to me earlier was I was listening to Seb, Manked Up Mage, talk about his strategy for going into the final. Obviously that's his main concern is will he be part of the last 128 players that get into the 1v1s? That's his main focus. I suppose that's everyone's main focus. But he was saying that he went with the strategy of trying to limit his combat level.
Yeah, so no melee stats.
Yeah, if he restricts his combat level, people in that final area where there's hundreds of people,
they're most likely going to be looking for the highest level of competition. If you're in a 1v1 with someone, you're level 90, they're level 126. You don't want that to be the case. So he was concerned that there would be clans that would see his account as like a level 120, and they'd say, everyone, divert your attention to Manked Up Mage. He's this level. We don't want him in the final because he will massively limit our probability of winning this.
Yeah, definitely. And so right now, if you're just tuning the live stream, if you're wondering what's going on, in the background we just have a few 1v1s going around, waiting for the two final areas to be announced for these players. And people just, racking up some kills, having some fun, enjoying it. Since they've spent a whole week training up to this point, they may as well utilize their stats and, yeah, just destroy some noobs, I guess. Do you want to talk about the map?
Yeah, I was going to say, we haven't really shown us off yet. If we could get a shot of a map on the main feed. There we go, look at that. Our hands are involved as well.
Technology.
You want to zoom for us?
Yeah,
this
is incredible. So here we've got a brand new piece of technology that I believe was made specifically by Jackmob, and this is unreal. So all of these heat maps here show how many players are in specific areas. So we can see there's a lot of players just north of the Draenor Manor here. I think this is a common spot to come to. Obviously, you're just outside of Multi here, and you're just below Barbarian Village.
They're awaiting the next supply chest.
That makes sense, actually. In 10 seconds, actually going to drop, so we should probably jump back into the game right now to find out where that is.
How about we show off the amazing skill? Click right where you want to go to, and
we know where it's dropping?
It's GE.
Oh, it's GE.
It's GE.
Wow.
Let's get to the GE.
Someone with really good gear just got that high level. D-Legs, D-Helm, he saw his friend there. This is Lit. Vosfos is the co-leader of Lit, one of the largest clans, the biggest forces in the demo tournament. And he's being geared up to be one of the final remaining members to go for that 1v1 final and take it home.
Yeah, I think Voss always competes really, really well in these tournaments. And it was actually Shinigami that managed to get the supply crate. I wonder if I have an old friend that plays called Shinigami. I don't know if he's changed his name. He's lost his name. It might not. I don't think it is the same one. But yeah, that would be quite coincidental if it is. You wouldn't have thought that the supply crate was in the GE, would you? Based on the heat map we were just looking at, it was one of the least populated areas. Obviously, one might think that it was above Draenor.
Oh, is that Robert? Who is he with right now? Is he teamed up with Legends, or has he found a different team? I'm not too sure. But Robert, 120 combat with a HP cape. He's got Addy boots on. He's got some Darox. Has he got full Darox? I hope so. He had it last time.
Ian's inevitable
Dude, it's a dream, man.
Of the full Darox. I saw. I think Voss had a Darox helm actually.
You know what's really surprising as well? Obviously, we had 15 times experience in dangerous areas this tournament. So if you look at the tournament view right now, bottom right, we can see everyone's level 120 combat, like the max level they can possibly be. So these 1v1s are going to be really interesting. And having that advantage is going to really make or break your fights.
Yeah, and one thing also to note about how this tournament goes is obviously because of the limitations to the economy and limitations of resources and supplies, we've seen a lot of players that have friends or alt accounts that will level their skills in herb lore and stuff like that and try and farm certain supplies. So I was actually talking to Voss earlier, who, like you mentioned, is a co-leader of Lit, and he actually has a mole pet on his ult.
A mole pet?
So I imagine they've been killing moles.
For the bruise requirements, that's right. That makes sense, actually.
The nests.
Another tweet from Josh Rika RS. Really enjoying this new chest mechanic. Hashtag Deadman Winter. If you want to get involved, make sure you tweet us with the hashtag. And thank you for that, Josh.
It definitely adds a nice dynamic to it, hey?
I'm glad to see that. There was some concern that it would impact the preparation that everyone's testers have been doing during the week. But we wanted to create a nice spectacle. We do this because it's something really entertaining to watch.
Yeah, I think the feedback that you guys got regarding the chest was definitely needed. I think if people had been walking around with their full armadillo on, it may have been a bit unfair, especially if they were to get to the final area, the 1v1s. I mean, I was saying when I first heard that there was going to be full armadillo in the chest, which has actually been reverted, I was saying if you lose a 1v1 and you've got full armadillo, what the hell were you doing?
You're never going to live that one down, are you?
Absolutely not.
At the same time as well, even with the Elder Maul potential, I mean, that was going to be a really strong weapon in those ones.
The Elder Maul is basically a spec weapon with no spec bar, right? The amount of damage you can inflict with that weapon is incredible.
Oh, I just saw Nate Bra there, who I believe is another streamer who
actually died
as well. He died.
Nate, I don't think you were here earlier.
Really?
Nate Bra died a couple of hours ago.
What, and was set back as well?
Yeah,
lost his stats.
he was PKing
devastating.
Cannabis. He tried to get food out of the bank, and obviously there's a couple of seconds delay after you've had the bank interface open, whereby you can't eat food to heal your health or drink potion to replenish your stats. He ran away from the bank, and before he could eat the shark that he pulled out of his bank, he got bolted and he got killed.
Wow.
What did we just see there?
Shout out to a few of the members of Antiques who are, I think they're Finnish. I might get that wrong though, so apologies if I have done. But Antiques are a clan that always plays demo mode as well. A very small force, and I think someone just died for their pet heron. So the chance of getting one of those, let alone in Deadman mode at a low level, that must be soul destroying. That's going on in the main game.
It would be even more soul destroying if you were a pet hunter. And you come to play Deadman mode,
and that one time you get it.
Yeah.
That you've been chasing for 30 million XP or whatever. I get you. Just south of here right now we have Barbarian Village, obviously a multi-zone. Might have a few clans down there having some fights. But let's check out the heat map again and find out where the action's really going on.
We're seeing a big wave of people moving north out of the monastery into the wilderness. So I'm assuming these are the people assigned to the Anarchal final.
Oh, have the last areas been assigned now?
From the very beginning of the kind of permadeath
really?
stage, yeah.
Do you want to go check out the last two areas then and see if any clans are camping there right now or waiting? Because I can see near the west gate towards the members area of Falador.
Yeah, so
that's a single area.
I believe it was the previous demo mode tournament that we casted in, which was at RuneFest in September. This was the final area, just north of Falador. So this is the third time we're going to be seeing this as a final area. Obviously, this time it's one of two. And this was a very common spot that we saw a lot of people gathering around, and I think it was Rot that was gathering around here.
Hate to interrupt you on here, guys, but looking over at my screen, I believe we're looking at a fight that may even involve MMORPG Curtis fighting another player using the leaf-bladed axe. He's got a lot of Barrows gear. It is Curtis indeed. Seems to have been running away now. Thanks for that. I just call you over and you want to stop fighting.
Great shout. Thanks for that.
Oh, but look at that. We've got Sick Nerd as well, actually. Adam in the bank, being hit by a Tartar member, 100+ combat with Arim's top, Barrage, and actually, Adam's mage level is very low. Obviously, your mage level contributes towards 70% of your magic defense bonus.
Yeah. So by going melee as well, he needs to be changing that, otherwise he's going to be taking so much damage. And we were talking earlier about the delay in banking as well. Every time that he's banking, he's not going to be able to eat for at least a second, if not two. He really needs to switch that up. Thank you very much, Adam. You've changed that up. Thank you.
I see a G-Maul coming out of nowhere here and just full HPing.
That's what the guy's trying to do here. He's trying to bait Adam into switching his prayers so he doesn't have pray melee up. Yeah, and then he's going to try and spec him out.
Adam's very aware of that, though. And also, actually, Adam's gear as well. He only got to play 2 or 3 days because he had to obviously travel down to the UK. But despite that, actually, he's level 110+ combat, and I think he also earlier, he only had a Verax skirt, which one of his viewers actually donated to him. He was saying he had to rock the Rune full helm. I was talking to him, he had 73. Oh, the supply chest just dropped, sorry. Interrupted there. And so Boss is getting, that's the second one for Boss,
That will be why we saw those players, that big influx of players walking through the monastery north into the wilderness, because that's where the supply chest has dropped.
It looks like as well, that was the Infernal Cape and Fury, I believe.
Yeah, and can we get confirmation on who that was? Was that Voss that actually did manage to get that one? It was indeed.
Wow. And Voss is actually melee based too. He's 115 combat, so that Infernal Cape will give him an extra +8 strength bonus, 2 extra max hits, the Fury 2 a bit of prayer bonus, and some accuracy bonuses too.
The massive defensive bonuses that the Fury gives.
That's true as well.
Correct me if I'm wrong, is it a +15 in each defensive stat that the Fury gives?
It might be +10, but it might be
I can't remember it as +10 or +15, which is bad because I recently just got a Fury on
your
my
Iron Man.
So
Iron Man, by the way.
Anyway,
I had to mention it, didn't I?
Curtis as well in the bank now, but I think they've just realised, you know what, they're not gonna die to us, at least not here, not in single mode. We're just wasting supplies, wasting time. So I think they've left each other alone. I was saying earlier about Adam actually, he went 70+ Barrow's chest dry, and then I was sat next to him. I was like, oh, good luck. Then you need to get like a helmet or something, and he got it. As I sat next to him, a 73rd chest or something like that, 74th chest.
It was a Verax, wasn't it?
He got a Verax helm, and now he's got one of the best in slot bonuses for this final.
And the Verax helm is also it's more significantly good than the other helmets because it gives a prayer bonus too.
Looking to the northeast, this is east of Anarchal, I believe, so just before the final area. A lot of low levels here. Level 80 combats, 90 combats, red D-hide. I'm seeing some Addy D-hide. What is this squad? So many levels, but I mean, there's power in numbers. It is multi-way combat, so if they do find a fight, they can definitely do some damage. We have Foe here, level 100 combat, leading his squad. 99 range cape as well. He's been putting in the hours, hasn't he?
Yeah, I believe I was talking to Curtis earlier, MMORPG RS. That is a mouthful to say that. I believe he's teaming with Foe, and there are a few of those guys, the content creators, that are going to be rocking up together.
Oh, it's like a stream team kind of thing.
Yeah. That's what Curtis was telling me earlier. But I think I really want to talk about
why this guy's Alkin?
Well, I mean, maybe I was going to talk more about clans, but that is obviously a course.
It's a very interesting tactic, at least.
Maybe.
Well, every mage level counts, obviously, but contributing towards your mage defense bonus, and that is a huge squad that he's got behind him as well. I'm guessing mostly viewers, but yeah, definitely competent power.
I wanted to talk a little bit about the whole situation with door closers and and fools.
Okay, so
they were two clans that actually formed an alliance for a previous tournament that we did, which was Wilderness Wars, and there were loads of multi-teams competing in that. I believe we had Rot, we had Cutthroat CT, we had Fools and Legends at the time, obviously, that formed an alliance.
With Boaty's team, who took the win.
Did I mention Rot? There was Rot on that as well. He Rot had allied with Sick Nerd, and they didn't make it as far as we'd previously thought they might have. But this time as well, we got intel as well that Rot aren't really playing too much in this tournament.
Well, they all have their finals over in USA, so if you're doing your finals right now, good luck at home as well. Hope they go well for you. But they've taken the reasonable approach, not going to put in too much time, because you've got to sweat out for a whole week, obviously.
Yeah,
and I believe the plan is that maybe they've got like 10, 20 people playing, just for fun, just to enjoy themselves.
It's the first Deadman mode tournament whereby they have made it non-mandatory for you to join. Every other tournament we've seen, Rot have made it a mandatory requirement.
And they dominate the whole way through as well, don't they?
Yeah, everyone always, the meme is, oh, Rot wins again, And then how much have they won from Deadman mode? Is it?
I think it's 50,000 plus now. So yeah, they repeatedly come and they show that they are definitely one of the most prominent multi-teams around. And we have a Torvesta versus Boaty right now, two of the largest content creators for RuneScape going at it. We have Money in the Bank as well. Can we check out the fight versus Torvesta and Boaty potentially?
This will be interesting. Torvesta's improved a lot. His PKing ability has definitely improved. I think
Boaty's running away from him.
Oh well, yeah, there we go. He's given it legs. Adam's gone. Obviously, there's a supply chest going to be dropping in 1 minute 50 seconds, so perhaps he's moving towards that.
He's going solo. I'm really surprised by that. He's level 120 plus combat. If he makes it to the final area, I mean, from the PvP Championship, watching him there and casting that with him, he was, oh my, where'd that come from? GG, 33, 34. He's only 69 combat. Rakesy Tom
as well.
Takes the kill.
Incredible.
That's nice.
Good Rakesy, man.
Oh, he is with the stream team. Adam's actually joined them as well. That's decent.
Yeah. I was thinking that, Adam's obviously got 99 attack, strength, defense, hit points.
He's maxed. He's
94 mage, and I want to say 90 range. I'm not too sure.
I think he's honestly got 90.
It might have gone up since I last checked his stats. Obviously, we've been busy today, but I just want to talk about more how Manked Up Mage mentioned how he tried to limit and restrict his combat level to play almost like he was going to be under the radar. He didn't want to be too conspicuous. He wanted to slide within. He wanted to blend in with the players, not be sticking out like a sore thumb. And I think players like Adam, although obviously we've got to give them props for their persistence and how much time and effort they've put in. But I think as a solo player or a player in a really small team, it might play into you detrimentally.
If you have piety, if you have a whip and you get into that 1v1 situation, you are maxed combat, you're against someone like Seb who only has range and mage, and you're in close quarters, it gives you one more attack style to have to fake either. They have to think about considering changing their prayers to. And also the DPS of having those really high melee stats with this decent gear is just, it's huge. So I think that's going to play a really crucial part as well in seeing who's more likely to win these 1v1 fights.
If they get into the 1v1s, that is. What's your opinion on it? Do you think someone like Boaty, obviously he's a massive name, he's got a massive combat level. In the final area, where it's a huge cluster of teams barraging and throwing chins in multi-way combat, do you think he will be a target?
Oh,
do you think they'll
absolutely.
Take him out?
But with 99 defense, he's got a good chance of surviving. And right now we have another supply chest coming in, just east of the obelisk. A level 57 could nab it. Can he wield it, though? That's the question. Can he even see it? The mammoths are guarding it. He's got to make it past the mammoths first. Can he get it?
Go on.
Oh, my God, he's done it. And the crowd goes wild.
Incredible.
I love how the crowd just always salute for an underdog, eh?
So what was that one, Swin?
Honestly, I'm not sure of the ordering of this one. Hopefully we get some confirmation through in the comms.
Abyssal Whip and Verak Skirt.
Well, I don't think he can wield it. I doubt he's got the 70 attack and 70
Well, this
defense
level
required.
57 is now one of...
Maybe he can get a last-minute swap in, get some massive...
If we can keep up with that player, actually, because he's going to be a target now for a lot of clans and solo players that want that gear. Abyssal Whip obviously being the best in slot, really, that most people are going to be using it as a melee weapon, and the skirt as well being equally the best in slot defense bonus.
And if you kill someone that has Barrow's armor on, it drops to the floor. Unlike regular RuneScape servers, they don't break in the Deadman mode tournament. They will fall down on the floor and they'll be fully equipable. So you loot that, you loot a Dragonfire shield, which would otherwise need charges. That isn't the case here. You can just take that, pick it up, equip it, and you're good to go. So that that poor guy that got that supply chest is probably going to have a big bounty on his head.
I want to see the random dude who like drops his level 57 he sees walking around the world, expecting nothing, just wants a bit of bants, just killing this little noob. And he's like, oh my god, Verax.
Unbelievable. Or alternatively, it could go the other way. They'll just run past a clan, will think a level 57, just knock him out, keep running. The person
and they won't even notice it.
And they'll just leave it.
Yeah.
Little did they know. This is why, you know, whenever you're in the wilderness, you're always a target. You could be carrying anything.
Exactly. Funnily enough, I see that a lot when, obviously, when the Invitational's over and the Deadman Mode Winter Final has been completed, there's going to be a season whereby players, anyone at home, can participate. You just have to come onto RuneScape, obviously, and that goes on for a month. And, you know, you get a lot of people that are like, oh, don't kill, you know, I stream it, and Ian will stream it, and everyone else, and they'll be like, oh, don't kill the noobs. When you're in a position where you can kill anyone that's, you know, running around and they're not very geared, people are like, oh, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't kill the noobs. You'll kill the game. One of my biggest ever kills, I was like bored, like really, really late into the season. There wasn't many people to fight at that point, and I was like, this guy's running past. I'm just going to kill him. And he dropped like 15,000 nature runes.
Yeah.
Or something obscene.
And
I was like, that's why you kill everyone.
There's a big collaboration up here. If we get some more right clicks in the names, so I can point out which clan this is. Waiting now. El Chapo actually getting into combat, another streamer, and just picking up some kills as well, having some fun with the Obby Cape. No Abba's Accumulator. Ranging in complete max defense he can possibly wield. The P-Neck 2 in 1 versus 1. He's going through that multi. He's prepared to tank it out.
He's in the pig's... in the pig's pen? Is it a pen? Yeah, it's definitely a pen.
It looks like it. Can we go to the heat map actually for a second? Let's talk about what's going to happen with the clans as well coming in right now.
So on the heat map, at the moment we can see there's a clear divide. Like we're nearing the final stage of the fog. We've got these 2 divides, nearing Anakal, nearing Falador. So we must be, what, 2 stages left, I imagine?
Yeah, so right here now, to the east we have a clan sitting around in single-way combat. They can't be hit by other clans, but they have to run all the way west. Here's Anakal, this little building right there. To the west as well, we actually have another force coming in. I think that was lit as well, so they're going to find each other very soon. This one, though, these guys are all very low levels. I remember seeing them earlier, they're level 70s, 80s. This clan looks like they're very well geared.
Yeah.
A few clans coming from the south as well. They're going to come in a bit late. If they come in too late, the defense position is definitely an advantage. If we go down to Falador now and have a look what's going on over here, we still have that clan sitting in singles. They've been there the whole time.
That's always going to be the best place to go. And it's going to be obviously very advantageous if you're in a team and loads of your members have been given the same final area, which is obviously in this one is here just north of Falador. You sit in here, obviously just south of this, running down southeast from the gate. It turns into multi-way combat. So you can actually stay in single-way combat and then cast onto people that are in multi-way combat.
And looking at the size of these heat maps right now as well, these 3 forces seem to be very similar in size. I'm not too sure how actually valid that is, how big the forces are as the heat map sees it. But, I mean, if these clans will find each other at the same time, there's going to be an absolute cluster as well. We'll see a lot of deaths being happen. Let's go back to Anakal now as well and see if they've taken the defense. Oh, wow. Whoa, look at the size of them compared to everyone else. That's actually ridiculous.
There we go. Live in the action there, following the massive blob.
Oh, wow, look at all the bolts going off. So who is this fighting? Get some right clicks, maybe?
I think that this here, just a second ago, we saw one
clan
coming
that Adam
from
just
the
fell.
east.
Did Adam just go down? Oh, how dead he says.
Signed got piled.
It looks like Signer's gone down already. He got piled, out in like seconds there by the clan. That shows the true dominance of a force in multi. It doesn't matter what level you are. If you've got enough people on the same guy at the same time. He had 99 defense, didn't he? Or something like 90+ defense. He had
that's what I was saying just a moment ago. I think the high combat level, you know, when you're in a position where you stick out like a sore thumb, you're geared to the 9s. You know, you're a huge combat level. People are going to look at that and say, I don't want that in the 1v1 area. I don't want to fight that 1v1 because they've got such a stat and gear advantage on me that it's just not worth it.
We have got confirmation.
Sick Nerd is a dead man.
He is.
He did well.
Unfortunate. Commiserations to Adam for getting so far.
It's a surprise because obviously last time round he was the last streamer left alive.
He was.
I think was a surprise for many people. But regardless, you know, he came back today and he thought, you know, if I can get the 1v1s, I'll be happy. But he went out, he had some fun, he got a few kills, and that's what it's all about, really.
I think regardless of combat level or even these stats, we talk about Manx purposely keeping a low combat level.
Yeah.
Fact is, I mean, the guy is great in Deadman, but he is a lower profile than, say, your Boaty and your Sick Nerd.
Yeah,
so
for
even
sure.
if Boaty and Sick Nerd are trying to keep a low combat level, they're still a big target. As soon as you right-click, see the name, you're gunning for them.
Yeah, they'd need to go for a name change.
Yeah.
They definitely would.
Oh, look, it's Voss. Oh, another supply quest coming in, and it looks like this time round, again, Lit will be able to grab it. Are they going to give it to Voss again? Is Voss going to have 3 crates in a row? Because that would be absolutely insane if he does. Has it dropped?
Oh, who's
there?
This? Oh, the level 50s have got it. Can they wield it as well? Looks like either DFS has maybe got it. Do we know what's inside this chest?
Yeah, that one was going to be a DFS,
I think it's
believe.
the charged
yeah.
DFS. And
We're going to just get confirmation on that in the communication.
Wait, is that level 93?
We'll find out. That is, excuse my my impaired eyesight, Ian. You're going to have to read that one out.
NB Escated, but I'm not too sure exactly which clan he's from either, but he's going down the single strips, so his clan's going to be fighting Lit very soon, and that DFS might go over to them. Obviously, if you die in Barrow's Gear in the demo tournament final, if you die for a DFS, it doesn't just crumble, you don't have to fix it again. You can pick it up, wield it, and take it to the finale.
So, out of the supply chest that we've seen, Ian, if you were going to be competing in this tournament, which one would you want, preferably? Would you want the Fury, the Inferno Cape, the DFS, the Varric Skirt?
I think a lot of these players, the MSP's going in, taking the guy down. So I think that, in particular, for a lot of the players that are grabbing supply crates, that are part of teams that want them, they already have things like Arims, they already have things like Carol's, Varrics, they've got a very good setup from Barrows.
Yeah.
Things they can't get as easily, Inferno Cape, the Fury in particular, it's very hard to get one of those in the game, they're very expensive to make, you need a craft to do it for you.
Yeah.
So I think personally, if you're missing any items that you've not had before, grabbing things like a Carol's, some kind of Carol's for some extra mage defense bonus, some extra defense bonus if you've got it, but that's the Fury in particular, and the Inferno Cape if you've got melee is going to make a big difference, I think. What about yourself?
Yeah, for sure. I think it would have to be a toss-up between the Inferno Cape and the Fury, and the DFS. The DFS just grants incredible defense bonuses.
It is the best in slot anyone can get, really.
Especially in these ending fights where ranged attacks are going to be doing significant damage, even through your prayer, a DFS is going to make a massive difference to that.
We have 4 minutes 30 until the final fog hits, and then when that happens, it's going to be going at 100 miles per hour, everyone running into this final area, shins being thrown in every direction. It's going to be a bit of a mayhem. Well, who do you expect to come out on top based on what we've seen so far, guys?
I mean, Boss, like leading a very large clan, has been geared up already nicely from the chest. I think he's in for a great shout. I think we saw him taking part in the PvP Championship as well with Lit.
Yeah. I think it's really hard to say who he's going to take the win here because there are so many variables and so many things that can happen. One thing that I would like to point out again that we mentioned previously is obviously the individual talent that we have on teams such as Fools and Legends or Door Closers. There's been like a 200 player alliance formed between various teams, and they're going to try and eradicate them before they get to the final. They want to eliminate them.
Just looking at the heat map right now, if you can jump to it really, really quickly before this action ensues. At the heat map right now, in the middle, we have a clan defending. To the east, we have another clan about to go in. From the southwest, there's one other clan. And actually,
MMORPG is also a dead man.
Commiserations to
the
Curtis.
second to fall.
That's 2 of the 4 out already, and we're not even in the final stages of gas yet.
Very surprising, because normally when we have our streamers and our content creators on stage, they do normally last until the final area, unless obviously you're Torvester and you're incredibly unlucky. You walk into a cave, you walk into a door, you walk up a...
I wouldn't use the term unlucky in there, but I think that's more political.
So we have the heat map right now, as I said before, Anakal going in the middle. We have a clan defending. To the west, a massive force coming in. To the east, we have several big forces coming in. And it's going to really play out the strategies here that the clans use. From being the first in the defensive position here, do you think that's a good idea, Swin?
Sorry, before we go into that, it sounds like you're giving a weather forecast.
And mild winds moving in from the west.
Have you ever thought about going into
I mean, the storm coming up right now could cause some terror for these guys in here. But I mean, honestly, like if this clan and this clan fight each other, there's a good chance that this one will be able to move in and take the win.
It depends on the time. It depends completely on the timing. So obviously, in terms of sheer numbers, looking down the east side of the map here, combination of these clans are probably greater than the central or the one to the west. The center clan obviously have taken immediate force of Anakal or GDs, and it could really play into their favor if these clans come in at separate times. If they give them, I don't want to say the 1v1 because obviously it's, when I'm saying 1v1, I'm talking specifically clan 1v1s, not individuals. If these guys to the west or to the east give the central clan a 1v1, then they're allowing this clan to then retain force of the actual final area here and then have an additional 1v1. If they go in simultaneously, they're sandwiched. They're going to have to be looking left, right, north, south. They don't know what to do. They're going to be getting barraged. They're going to be getting chinned. It's going to be an absolute cluster.
So we had a lot of focus on Anakal as the final area. So let's head more towards Falador.
And you can instantly see already that we've got more people forming together. We've got just that same circle that seems to have moved a little bit further down from the Falador gate, West Gate, and we've got another team now that's forming just north of the safe zone. A few people within Falador itself and a few people just hanging around the walls.
this definitely is going to, within the next few minutes, ensue into absolute carnage.
See, here's the thing. Nobody actually wants to engage in combat because, as I said before, losing members is just critical to your chances of making it into the final few.
For sure.
But at the same time, if everyone leaves at the last second, that just means that everyone's going to fly in at the same time, and it's just, a free-for-all, basically.
Absolutely.
We have fog in at -1 minute, so that's going to happen any second now. Last minute guesses what's going to happen, guys?
I'd probably say that everyone is going to form into the safe zone, and there's going to be a huge fight of everyone at the same time. And there will be 64 people that will be teleported to the next zone.
Thank you.
Pretty much.
Not easy, yeah.
Ben with absolutely
And here we are, look, there we go,
predictions.
the proof's in the pudding. If we look at the heat map, if you look in the game map, over at Falador, everyone is now forming towards the centre. The great part about this, though, is that although so much happening at the moment, there are 400 plus people left. It's the moment we get to 128 people left, all action is going to stop. Combat is going to end, and we're going to prepare ourselves for the final area where everyone will get teleported over.
Now, a strategy here being utilised by a lot of members, mostly solo players, is stay around the edges, try not to get hit, trying to avoid those chin clumps and those barrage clumps. Just to explain that to people at home, if you've not played RuneScape before, you don't know much about this. So barrage and chin are a magic and a range-based attack. They're an area of effect damage attack. So basically, you hit one target, you can hit up to 9 at the same time.
Yep.
When you have large numbers, such as we have right here, really big forces fighting each other, that's what really makes the difference in taking out as much members as you can, as quickly as possible.
Just to be a bit pedantic, it's not just 9 people at the same time, it's 9 squares, so you can have...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It is indeed, yeah. So there could be multiple people stacked. As long as it's a 9x9 area, you could hit...
And we see it right here as all the chins are flying in, and you can't do much against it, really, can you? You've got to try and just avoid them and fight back as best you can.
Exactly. So the barrage, for newer viewers, obviously, people are more likely to be using ice barrage, which freezes players for 20 seconds, and so that puts them in a clump. If you get a lot of people, specifically within like a 9x9 square system, and you get them all frozen, then you can have multiple combat attacks. So we see how many bolts are flying.
Yeah,
This is unusual, right, Ian? When we're watching these finales, we see the barrages and we see chin chompers. People are utilizing both the magic damage attack and the range damage attack. And obviously, as a player that's defending from that, you can't defend from both simultaneously with overhead prayers.
So the clan attacking right now, actually, they decided to take out some of the higher members first. Very interestingly, they saw the Barrow's gear. They thought, if these guys go into the 1v1 with us, we won't have as good a chance to beat them. So they're concentrating their fire really cleverly right now and trying to take out some of the more prolific members as fast as possible.
Yeah.
For those of you watching at home, you can see the counter in the top left, 350 plus. That indicates the number of players actually remaining. What we're looking to do is get down to the 128, which would be 64 in each zone before they're teleported to engage in a 1v1 combat.
We have Robert as well, actually, who's still on stage, still alive. And his tactic isn't to stay around the edges, it's actually to stay inside the middle, hoping that no one's going to attack him. And for some reason, it's working so far. I'm not sure if he's the only one apart from the streamers.
I think one of the reasons why that might work is because as soon as you're standing in the middle, obviously we've seen it time and time again when we've had Anakala's final area. Clans want to stand on the outside. They don't want to put themselves in a position whereby they can get clumped. They want to catch the stray roamers, right?
Yeah.
And if you're standing directly in the middle, you've got to run and you've got to path yourself around certain obstacles, which open yourself up to failure. You, as soon as you path wrong around an obstacle to go and get someone, you're out of the way of your team. You can get caught off. You're then astray yourself, right? So we're going to move down south straight to just north of Falador, obviously, where the...
Look at the clan at the southwest corner, all with Prey Mage up, just trying to stay out of combat. They clearly have the numbers right here, but they are playing it very smart, letting the other members of other teams fight each other, whittle themselves down until they have nothing left, and they just swamp in, and it's just an easy win for them.
I think as far as clanning is concerned, it's probably easier to come out victorious as a clan rather than a solo player in the Falador area.
Oh, absolutely, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't give a chance for solo players to go through. We see Foe right now, who isn't ever a team for sure, and he's running around just tanking it as long as he possibly can, but he's walking past this whole team that doesn't even touch him.
We just saw someone with really good gear, Dice, just slightly east of the statue, rather, in the Falador final zone. I'm not too sure who that was, but...
Oh, interestingly, can we go back to the heat map? Because we see as people begin to die, they're going to start heading towards this cell in Falador. And they're there for like a solid 1 second before they're kicked from the game.
I didn't notice that, yeah.
No, I just saw that.
You can just see it like pulsing as it gets larger and smaller as all these people are dying and then being kicked out once they've been completely removed from the server.
Whilst we were off camera earlier looking at Anakal in Falador, it was almost like I was watching a game of Snake as the clans from each corner moved across to the other corner attacking the other clan, and they would move into the other corner, and before you know it, we had a train going all the way around. At the same time, foe, as we saw, was running between them, dropping between such low health, running past, getting back up to full again. And it's actually really interesting to see how they decide to just take the corners. Each clan says, you know what, this is my corner, you are not coming here, and if you want to, then, well, I'm going to take someone else's corner.
Sorry to interrupt. You see that guy in Aram's just fall from full... He had literally full HP, 110 combat,
what,
had
just to the
range
east?
up. Yeah, and he literally got hit like 2015, 2020 or something, and died from full HP to 0. That goes a week's worth of progress like that, and just out of the window just like that. And Laurie I see there, looks like some Antiques members who are a smaller clan. Still in it,
I
still
know
into
Laurie.
it.
I know Laurie, yeah.
Which is a really nice surprise as well, actually.
One thing we're seeing here as well is a lot of blood barrages. I know that there's been... I was going to mention Curtis would be utilising the blood barrage, but unfortunately his time in the tournament wasn't really sufficient enough to him to be using it. We've just got intel that Boaty's died. Adam has died. So like I was pointing out earlier...
See you later, mate.
Everyone's cheering. What?
Wow, okay. Boaty's the new rot up in here, apparently. Like I was talking about earlier, you know, that high combat level... that really high combat level and that superior gear is going to make him stand out, and people are going to want to target him. They don't want someone of that level, of that skill, to be in the final area because it reduces their chance of winning.
On the other hand, level 93 combat earlier that got the DFS, one of the best, well, the best in slot shield in the game, a huge advantage to before. He also just fell, so maybe targeted for his gear too.
Which is another thing to point out, because when we were talking previously about the supply crates, this is something that we've added. This is a complete new dynamic that we've added to Deadman mode. We were thinking that where you put these supply crates, we're going to see a huge influx of clans. It's a high-risk, high-reward gameplay. You know, you go for that chest, and there could be 3 clans there ready to pile you as soon as you go for that chest, right?
Yeah.
But that wasn't what we saw. We saw Voss go into each chest. He was fairly uncontested, right? Yeah, he was literally allowed to go there. He may have not got pid on all the chests and got all the items, but he was fairly uncontested. And now we're seeing people have allowed people to get these items. You can easily spot them in the final area because they're wearing something that is...
instantly a target,
and then they're being taken out afterwards.
Do you know what, actually? Although we were kind of hoping for more people to be going there, there were a lot of people that probably considered it's not worth the risk for me at this time. We've got our clan. We don't want to ruin our chances for a couple of pieces of gear. Let's let someone else get it. And then, you know what? Easy pickings for them. I'd much rather be sat in the corner going, oh, I can see what you've got.
Yep.
I see that DFS.
Yeah.
Nice little dragon face on that shield, buddy.
Mine now.
It looks like 2 clans right now, a Falador statue, have decided to not wage war and actually pick off the small survivors. But obviously, only 64 can advance, and there are a lot more than 64 players remaining, 250 plus actually. So a big clan fight will ensue soon. We have a tweet from 2Kai saying, "Pure spam, looking good." Hashtag Deadman Winter. Thank you, dude.
I like how you haven't read out a tweet in a good while.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. I was like, what made you want to read that one out?
That guy complimenting me. Yeah, cheers, buddy.
Well, I mean, my forehead before was a bit of a health hazard, you know, with the lighting on stage, the reflection of people at home might blind some of them, so I got the fringe back again.
You're closer to the screen. I don't get the satisfaction of reading out the tweets this time, man.
Should we check out how Anakal is going for the other lot?
Yeah.
Fly across. So right now we still
Mystic
have...
tops everywhere.
Yeah, I know, right? Look at the loot, man. That's a looter's paradise. Imagine being there right now.
Imagine being invisible.
Oh, man, the dream. In the center, surprisingly, we have a lot of action going on. Usually people leave that center out and they just decide to go and wrap around the corners. So if you get caught in the center, to get out of that middle castle, you've got to go through a 1-by-1 like square. And if you get caught there by a barrage clump, for example, or some chinchompers, you're pretty screwed.
Yeah, there are a lot of choke points that you can easily get caught up in, which is why I was saying earlier how it could, although, you know, prima facie, it may seem it may seem counterintuitive to stand in the middle as a solo player. But like we saw Robert doing it fairly successfully. He's still up on stage.
He's still
now.
alive. So is Manx.
He's still alive.
Yeah, I mean, we talked earlier about Manx, you know, going with the team door closers known as Legends from before, and one
I
of the
love
more
that name.
Yeah,
door closers.
One of the more, you know, prolific clans here right now, and for the 1v1 stage, if he gets through to that, like we said before, we could see him go really, really far.
Have we got a glimpse of the Manx yet? I mean, we've seen plenty of Robert here, but I haven't seen Manx.
No, I haven't either.
Wondering what...
I did just get a nice view of Torvesta over in Falador. He seems to be in the clump up in the southwest corner.
Torvesta too, Alex, 113 combat, hiding in a clan. Not sure who he's with. Any guesses?
I recognise the name El Chapo at the top of the list.
El Chapo Deadman mode, yeah.
I think that's lit then, probably, in the corner. So one of the larger forces here. And who's against them? If he gets some right clicks on the other
fights
force.
going on within that far corner, and that person's just actually been dropped.
He was hiding with flippers. What was he doing? So who's to the north then? We have 2 clans about to fight each other. They've got no chance left of just waiting it out. Looks like DL's in there, maybe. We have Risk AGS, Mika, maybe. Not too sure. Metal, that's the name that I recognise.
I'm very envious of you right now, Ian, and your positioning, because I can't read all these names.
Come closer, my dear.
I need to scooch in and, you know.
And as you can see here, like the clan's just trying to wrap around, trying to get caught in those barrage clumps. It's all about that, those mind games, trying to take the solo players that are hiding amongst the clans and position themselves well to wrap around and do the most amount of damage, because that first engagement, if you can start attacking first and not be attacked back, the amount of damage you do in those few seconds is just completely, puts the whole fight in your favor.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about the 1v1 fights as well. So that's going to be coming in shortly. Obviously, when we got the last 120. I nearly said 164. Obviously, it's 64, 128. So when we've got the last 128 players left, that's the 64 from each of the final areas. They're going to be teleported to the 1v1 zones. And one thing I'm going to be really, really looking out for here, Ian, is people utilizing their freezes. I want to see them freezing people in tribrid fights, and obviously what we call step under bridding. So if you don't know what step under bridding is, it's when you utilize a freeze, you freeze your opponent, you stand underneath them. While you're underneath that person, they can't see what gear you're switching into. So you obviously can reduce the DPS if you're in a position whereby you need to E. You can stand under an E. You can switch various combat styles and then come out from underneath them and attack them. So you can basically, you have the drop on them. And one thing that I really, really want to see, which we've seen in previous tournaments like the PvP championship that you casted, was that people who really knew what they were doing wouldn't just stand under and then click on their opponent to bolt them or barrage them or whip them. They would stand a diagonal square, either northeast, northwest, southeast, or southwest, which completely eradicates the possibility of them being hit with a melee attack.
It's interesting you should mention that, because obviously Robert on the stage, who is still alive, actually does not have any freezes, no ancient magics. He has just gone with the Rambo melee and range combo, which will make him a big tank, obviously. But if he does get up against someone like Manked Up Mage, for example, who's got the opposite, the range and the mage duo, that hybrid kind of setup, like you said before, stepping underneath and utilizing that to his advantage, it's going to be very difficult for Robert to win those kind of 1v1s.
For sure, because if he goes up against someone that uses a diagonal square, he's going to have to stay in range
the whole way.
Because if he's spam clicking them with melee on, he's going to hit 0. Well, he's not going to even be able to hit.
As we saw in the PvP Championship when Moni, with his bolts, bolting through to be the finale winner through Prey range. I mean, range is a very, very strong attack style in RuneScape. So, I mean, we might see it being quite
The difference
well.
being with the PvP Championship, we were letting them restock with anything they like invent full of brews. This time around, we're restocking their invent between rounds. 1 brew is all they're going to get.
Yeah.
We have 10 seconds until the fog damages all players. Also, Elliot, a tweet for you from Hopaldino. Skidless hair is delicious too. Hashtag Deadman Winter.
Thank you very much. Maybe I'll have it for dessert.
Looking around right now, we have, again, these two clans just trying to get the advantage, trying to take the solo players within them. We have 200 people plus still remaining, which is a surprise. So this last fog, Sween, is that going to put people really, really close together? Then how far is it going to push them in?
I think it's just going to hit everybody indiscriminately. It doesn't matter where you're standing. Fog is just going to be...
Oh, I see. So it's not going to move it's not going to make the actual area smaller. It's just going to make people die because they run out of supplies, pretty much.
Until I get confirmation otherwise, I think that's how it's going to work.
Fog is now dropping to all players, and you are right there, Swain. And that also means that now, obviously, trying to be smart here, trying to do damage whilst you're also tanking, taking damage from the fog. This is where really the higher-leveled players and their skill really comes through, and it's not just an RNG fest of who gets hit the most damage.
It might also reward people who have chosen not to engage in combat. Their supplies are still intact.
That's true.
They've been waiting on the edge. They can out-eat everybody else. So it's not an ideal situation, but if you're not going to be engaging in combat, then that's what's going to happen, really. We gave ample warning that this was going to happen. Look at the Retribution prayers coming in there, damaging everyone with AoE.
Imagine dying to Retribution prayer.
Oh wow, that whole squad's gone down so quickly. And it just goes to show the power of the AoE spells and of the Chinchompers, obviously, just wiping them out so quickly.
We've dropped a significant amount of players in a very, very short amount of time as well. And we can see these clans that were obviously taking refuge in the corners of just north of Falador. They're moving. Like, succinctly, they're moving together as a massive unit, and they're just running around.
You can just imagine in Discord right now, like, move east, go north,
and we've just dropped another 50 players. We've had a message come in from none other than FL3S1 Nakepit. Can you read that out, please?
Yeah, of course. A dead boaty feels bad, man. Hashtag Deadman Winter. You had to let me say the Twitch memes, didn't you?
I can't read the message. I could just read the name.
I think you even got the name wrong there. It's Snake Pit.
Oh.
I don't even know what you said.
3S1 Nakepit?
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
I think that's Spen.
Looks like Anakar is actually done. There were 64 players that have been taken away from the area into the 1v1 finale, which you guys get to see for the first time. And wow, the gear of some of these guys, 120 plus combat, everyone looking like they've got maxed barrows, and they're definitely ready for the 1v1s. We're back to Falador as well, actually. That fight's still going on, and a lot of those guys are going to fall down as they run out of supplies because the Fogs hits them very, very quickly. Any names in here particularly you guys recognize? Wait.
Robert's made it into the final area.
No way!
That was something he was saying on stage. Can we get a round of applause for Robert, please, ladies and gentlemen?
I see some...
Unless you're at home watching, you don't need to clap at your PCs, obviously.
Well, I mean, why not?
Weird.
Everyone clap. It looks like Manx Up Mage is looking very furious at his computer right now. He must be in a battle and trying to get through as well.
It seems like there are so many players left, just north of Falador here.
Oh no, Foe's going to drop. Can he tank it for much longer? Looks like a clan is on him. Oh, is Robert alive or is he dying? No, he's good. He's uppy. He's got it. And Foe is going to die any second now. He's being destroyed by Chins, but he's still alive and
No,
still
we've seen
surviving.
some of the more well-known, some of the largest content creators have gone down prematurely. And Robert has managed to stay up, which is obviously a surprise to everyone.
Whoa.
No offense, Robert, of course, but, you know. We've seen you, PK. We've seen it.
Really interesting watching Foe, actually, and how he's running. I'd like to speak to him after this and find out if he was actually with anyone else as a team or if he was running solo, because he seems to, whenever he gets attacked, he seems to run into the other team, which is obviously going to draw the other team to... Obviously, anything multi is going to attack them as well.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, one person is now being attacked by 5, and before you know it, Foe slipped away.
I want to see his inventory, because I feel like everyone's walking around now running out of energy, and Foe has been running marathons around everyone for the past 10 minutes now.
That's a very good point, remembering that for the last 128 people that will survive, the supplies that they have for the first fight are going to be the supplies that they made it to there with. So if someone has been a target such as Foe and has used all of his supplies, he's going to be at a serious disadvantage for that first 1v1.
Well, I mean, by the looks
after
of
that,
things,
they'll get resupplied.
Yeah, by the looks of things, he didn't stock brews, he stocked staminas. So I don't know how they're going to play into
well,
the
maybe his tactic was just run circles around the opponent.
He pulled up loads of purple sweets, has been clicking them the entire time. I just want this to be done with. Interestingly, in the beta, we had to kind of test the mechanics of this because it's really experimental. We used Barbarian Village instead of Falador, and it ended way too quickly. This, on the other hand, we're not having the same problem, are we? Maybe we need to look at somewhere in between us.
I think well, obviously, we saw just north up here, obviously, in Anakal. I think that was the perfect length of time. We had obviously the players dropping fairly quickly when the fog started dealing damage to each player.
Well, here's a big mistake, in my opinion, of this clan or this team that are going around. I can tell they're in a team because I can see them moving very succinctly together, all in one big motion, but they're not doing any damage back. They're just taking hits, losing members, and that other clan is just way too big now. They can't overpower them. They had a good chance at the start, I think. If they went head-on and just fought each other number for number, maybe they could have taken
Well, as we say that, 2 people fall instantly. 3 people fall in the far corner, southeast corner of that Falador safe zone.
Well, that's what I mean. They were part of the clan, I think, at this northwest corner, and they've just not been fighting each other, not seen any damage being output from those guys. They've just been going around in circles trying to avoid damage, trying to get lucky enough to be in that final few for the 1 versus 1 situation.
So interestingly, we talked about how Falador's been a little bit slower in terms of progressing compared to Anakal. When we looked at the heat map, Anakal most certainly had a lot more smaller groups of people. We had 3 very large clumps, but there were also 2, 3 kind of like medium-sized clumps of people all coming together. Yeah. Perhaps that was the one zone that just didn't happen to have this super clan that we've been talking about, where all the smaller clans have formed alliances.
That's it, maybe.
Now,
we saw like just 2 or 3 big clans that were obviously closest to the Falador final area.
Exactly. Yeah, we saw them.
That probably has an effect on how slow these fights are going, because and obviously you've got the 2 clans rather than like the loads of little clans. And one thing to mention as well is that it might not be the best move if you're in this clan or either of the clans in Falador, and you're not participating and engaging in combat with the various other clans that are around you, you're going to be taking damage from the fog, right? And like you said, you go into this final area with the stock that you have in your inventory from that final area. Yeah. So they're like, oh, okay, I want to avoid combat, but then everyone's going to take damage. So they're all going to be limiting supplies.
Yeah, at the end of the day, there's going to have to be 64 people come out of this zone, and if it's not going to be through normal combat, it will be through gas forcing them into that. And again, as you say, supplies wasted, it's just shooting yourself in the foot ultimately. Yeah. You want to get into this final with the absolute best chance that you can. Make sure that your clan wipe out the opposition as soon as possible so that you are fully stocked, that you've got the best chance of possible to go through.
I think Foe's actually just fallen of one of the prolific content creators. He's gone down. Actually, talking about Manked Up Mage quickly, I think he's in this final area. I don't know if we've got confirmation of that or not, but I can see his face right now. For the past 10 minutes, he's been concentrating. He's not as chilled out as Robert. So I think his clan, which is obviously He's not made it through yet, no. So that means that one of these clans, one of these forces, is the underdogs, Legends, who are very good in the 1v1 situation, but they have a very small force compared to some of the bigger clans. They had 40 members, and they were allianced with Fools, I believe, who had another 40, which is still a lot of members, but...
We just saw someone with 99 range and various Barrows pieces and a Dragon Medhelm just drop east of the statue there. So that's someone that could have been a real threat in the 1v1s that has been taken out as well, astray from the clans.
So whilst we're waiting for some resolution, let's take a look at Twitter. We've got at Kebab Seller. You heard of this guy? All he does is run around giving kebabs to people.
I haven't had one.
Have you not? So he says, if you need a kebab on RS, I'm your man. Hashtag Deadman Windsor. I mean, that's great, Kebab Seller. What I'd like to hear is from contestants who are now dead. So if you've been taking part in the final hour, get in touch with us with hashtag Deadman Windsor. But other than that, Kebab
it's
Seller,
always
crack
serious, sweet.
And can I... I'll take a beer as well, you know. I actually, just before we casted, we have the Blue Moon in here.
Varrock's Finest.
They're selling Varrock's Finest Ale, and I must say, it was delectable.
Well, I wouldn't be able to comment, because obviously, as a J-mod, we don't drink alcohol. So I'm just saying well hydrated with bottles of water.
Which would explain your running off to the toilet.
Back to the game anyway. We have
Thank you for your spam.
We have quite a few members falling in the southwest corner right now. Into the northeast corner, these guys are really well geared. I see one guy in Arims and a DFS casting Blitz with the Arims staff too, a little bit near the statue itself. I'm going to get a right click on his name, right next to the statue, just north of it. But I mean, still, I'm so surprised these guys aren't getting into combo. They just want to get into that last 64 players. I think they must feel they stand a really good chance in that 1v1 scenario.
Look at this nutcase. Throwing chins just south of the statue. I love the animation of it. He just looks crazy, standing there on his own, just separated from his clan. And obviously we know he's in a clan as well because he's wearing the green. He's wearing the green cape. So
we have Minimash there. I think he might have been from Execution or AC. Used to be back in AC back in the day, who are quite a large clan too. A few names that I'm popping up.
We're certainly getting close to the last 128 here. We can see that we've just got 100 plus.
Oh yeah.
So we are very close. This clump has definitely got smaller within the time that we've been talking. A lot of almost as if they're infiltrators. They've been in this clan, but not actually part of them, trying to sneak their way in, all sneaky beaky-like, and maybe it's not worked out as well as they'd hoped.
I love that. I love that.
You've got a tweet as well, by the way, Ben, addressed at you, if you can read it.
Okay, this is from, Richard Walker 24. Aiza is Bay, less than 3, hashtag Deadman Winter. Thank you, Richard Walker. I wonder who you are. Definitely not someone that I might...
I wonder if it's Richard Walker.
Well,
Well, the last few members left to drop now until the last 64 take place in the 1v1 here. Still not much to comment about. What are you guys expecting from the 1v1s then? Who do you think Manx Mage is going to do well? Do you think he's going to get through to it? How do you think Robert's going to do as well?
I think Mank's going to get through. I think Robert's going to get through. I think Robert's already through. Look how chill he is. It's like he's sat there, he's ready for another Varrock's Finest. And we see so many players up here with crystal shields as well. They're one of the best defensive stat shields in the entire game. And I've seen, like, in the northeastern area, we see so many of them as well. There are so many people walking around with those crystal shields.
So I think we're awaiting teleportation. I mean, the fog stopped, combat stopped. We must be down to nice 64. I mean, if we can get confirmation that the JMOds behind the scenes are about to teleport them into the arenas, that'd be great.
No, they're still fighting each other, so it means there are more than 64 players left. I see Blitz is being thrown. I see that guy, the guy with the running crossbow, trying to bait a few members out. But
and I can see a few crystal arrows flying at him.
Actually, inside there in the southwest corner too, there seems to be a few people that were hiding this whole entire time. They've just found them now and taken them down as quickly as they can. I'm surprised they lasted for so long, to be honest.
There was like a 20-second period there of no action at all. Do you think the clans were like, okay, let's take stock of what we got?
Yeah.
Right-clicking. Hang on, who's this then?
They were doing name checks. They pulled out the notepad. They were checking all of the members. Hold on a second. This guy isn't part of our team.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've just had confirmation that there are 15 more deaths required for there to be the last 64 players in this area.
I mean, in this situation now, this has been a great moment for the Northwest team to just run down south as fast as possibly can, while the other clan is trying to take out those stragglers and catch them by surprise. But I mean, they've got to do something because they're whittling down to only having half the members, I reckon, of the clan towards the south.
So we got X-Decker coming in there. Said, I'm playing next time and winning. Hashtag Deadman Winter. That's what we want to see. I mean,
I like the confidence.
Should we take this a little bit of downtime to talk about the upcoming seasonal changes?
Of course, yeah.
So earlier, I mean, just a minute ago, you spoke about the Crystal Shield. Great defensive stats. That is being...
Oh, no. Sorry to interrupt. This is what a nightmare. Northwest corner. Got hit in a clump, and now a lot of people are going to fall any second now. Look at that. All the high levels, 110 plus combat. They've all got Arims. They've all got Torags. And actually, they've tanked it quite well.
They're splitting up, so they're getting out of the clump. But it looks as though a lot of the team that were dealing most of that damage have progressed towards more central area towards the statue. So they've put themselves in a vulnerable position too. Because if they get counted from different areas within the final area here, they could be counted from north, east, south, and west.
Supplies are running low. We saw 4 people there, like different corners just drop, even if one person's focusing on them. Who's that there? I am Des. He is.
I am dead.
I am dead. Yeah. That's a diamond bolt spec. Got him gone.
Sorry, back to. I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Swin.
No,
about the season, obviously, as the tournament ends tonight, the season is opened straight away for all members, logging into a whole new, fresh game mode, level 3 combat. Got to start from scratch. You want to talk a little about what they can expect?
Absolutely, yeah. So very similar format to this. It's going to be the top 2,000 taken from the course of the spring season. They'll be invited into the spring finals. So if you want to compete in the next stream we do, which will be in a very similar format to this, then make sure you log in as soon as this tournament's over. You can find the upcoming seasonal changes on oldschool.runescape.com/deadman/season. Doesn't really roll off the tongue, but I'm hoping Modstone can somewhere put it in the Twitch chat for you guys to get access to. I just had confirmation as well. 10 more deaths required, so we can stop trying to fill time and get some actual casting again soon.
At the same time, it's before seasonal. I would greatly recommend people jump on at the start. It's the most fun when you teleport into Varrock, run to the stronghold, the security of all your friends, trying to get the 10k as fast as you can, and then you're full halfway through. You want to quit, you keep going, and you die again, and you're like, oh, what's the point? But I mean, it is 15 times in dangerous areas. So you can level up very, very quickly in the seasons, as well as the XP cap being crucial to making it a bit fairer for the people that can't sweat it out as much as the final.
I think the 15 times XP in dangerous areas was probably one of the best radical changes that we'd seen to Deadman mode season.
Just the XP cap in general, not being able to get too far ahead day by day. If you want to play only 2 hours a day, that's all you can mix, you work, or you've got school or whatever, then you're more than welcome to do that.
So as we see more and more people falling here within Falador...
What? Dalek Cookie?
Still alive, tanking that.
I really hope she makes it to the final area. I want to see Dalek Cookie in a 1v1.
I don't think I've ever seen her PvP before, so maybe she'll take us all by surprise and take the first place. You never know.
The mechanical genius.
That's true. She does do a lot of PvM, so her prayer flick should be on point.
Absolutely. Well, back to how, as I was saying, when we see more and more people here falling now, we can quite clearly see that there's a group of people that are very well at communicating near the statue. The people that are around the edges are the people that they're targeting. I think it's safe to say that probably was the clan that had communications on lockdown. Maybe the others were some smaller groups that had kind of combined forces, said, this is an alliance, we'll stick together, we won't attack each other. But without having those really important callers, the people that are going to say who they're going to attack, who they're piling at that one time, you can really notice the difference in skill levels between clans.
Yeah, we're just seeing a lot of stragglers being taken out one by one. So occasionally you'll see just one poor dude on his own, then they're just going to get bolted by it. Yeah. Well, there's actually 2 of them here. There were 2 people fighting one another, but they're now both being targeted individually by a load of people. So this guy with the crystal shield is going to perish, unfortunately. He looked like a huge threat as well. He had, I think he had a Darrock's plate body on, a crystal shield. That guy was a force to be reckoned with in the 1v1s for sure.
I reckon that's Manked Up Mage in the bottom left corner there. I think I saw a similar gear setup to him. He's hiding out. Only a few more deaths left. Can he make it? He must be.
God.
He must
Look
be
at the Fox. This is the Fox going in.
Here he goes.
Step it up. Okay,
and El Chapo's not happy. He's tweeted in, thanks for blowing my cover and getting me killed. Deadman Winter. Ian, that was your fault, brother.
Oh, I'm so sorry, El Chapo. Oh, no, man. There's always next time, though. I hope you had fun regardless. And right now, the fog, like you said before, is doing increasing damage. And people, their supplies that are low right now, the ones that have been
running
tanking
around
for a long time.
headless chickens, hey?
That is going to be really detrimental to anyone.
So their indecision to who should we kill. So essentially, we can assume these people all team together. They can't decide who they should kill. And now they're all going to suffer because of it.
Yep.
Whoever gets through is going to go in on less supplies because they're trying to out-eat the fog right now. And
really? That's a really good point, actually.
So the first round, they're going to be playing catch-up to the guys over in Anakal.
That's a really good point.
Everyone in Anakal decided, you know what, we know what we need to do. We know how this season's going to be, this tournament's going to be working out.
And there they go.
Oh my God, someone was on 2 HP, I swear, 2 HP, with 99 defense cape, max everything, and he just got teleported before dying.
And he's going to be fighting in a 1v1 with 2 HP.
Oh, that's a good point, actually.
Okay, so obviously the next phase, like we've been talking about, we've had the 2 final areas. We've had... Okay. We've had... Thank you. We've had the Falador final area, we've had the Anakal final area, and the top 64 players from each area have been now teleported into a 1v1 zone. They're there, they're ready, they're getting prepared. Obviously, they can go and they can start the fight off of our cues, but we just want to talk a little bit about what's going to happen and how these fights are going to progress.
So, of course, we have Manked Up Mage and Robert going through from the stage, MMORPG and Signet, unfortunately not being able to make it through.
The crowd are loving that.
And yeah, the crowd are rooting for them, clearly. Expectations for both of these guys right now going into this. We talked a little about Manked Up Mage being a very prolific hybrid, having insane stats, insane gear.
Yep.
Robert as well being like 100+ combat.
And we've just got cues that they're actually going to be moving on to the 1v1s immediately.
Fantastic, straight away. Let's jump right into it then, because we can see the arena right now as they're flying in, and we're in, and it's about to begin any second now. So here we go. This is the first time we've seen the 1 versus 1 situation for the last 128 players.
Immediately, I want to zoom in on the bottom right, top left. That's confusing, right? Bottom right, top left. But we're seeing immediately this step under Bridden. This guy's utilizing his freezes, and he's getting the stand under. He's getting the damage. We see Emerald Bolts being utilized too. If you don't know what the enchanted version of Emerald Bolts does, it basically poisons your opponent. So if you are able to waste time, so to speak, by standing under your opponent and letting that poison damage tick down, you're going to deal basically damage for free, right?
We have a YouTuber there, actually, Die YouTuber up there, Jaws275, who is in a D-Med, some Mystics, and the Granite Shield to the left corner, I believe. And yeah, he's doing pretty well. He's come quite close to going quite far in these tournaments before in the past too.
Yeah.
Look at this guy, the DFS. Oh man, he is stacked up like crazy. A lot of these guys just bolting each other down, trying to do as much damage as they can. And I mean, these first couple of phases are going to be quite easy if you get lucky. If you're up against someone at a much lower level who's just luckily enough got into that final area 1v1s, it's such a huge advantage to you. Whereas if you're fighting someone like this guy up here, he's only got chins left. He's only got chins left against someone in full Torags. There's not much he can do now. He's got no chins left either.
Oh my God, he's kicking him.
He's trying to go for the melee switch.
He actually did have a crossbow with bolts, but he was slow.
Well, looking around as well, who else we got? Get some right clicks in the names so we can point out a few prolific players. Ooh, the whips, the Torags, like those switches, he's doing well. I think the team.
The Verax Helm as well. The guy with the range prey up, bolting with the range cape, is just taking unnecessary damage here because he's just taken 6 whip hits without
that guy though,
his
the
prayer.
G-Maul
coming out, and we've taken away.
He was 119 combat, actually, that guy Ripper Lols. He's got a very good chance of going really far in this. And he's doing well with his prayers. He knows when to eat, when to change his prayers, pretty much. He's got Vengeance too? Oh, wow. Who's that Bear Scout? 98 combat with Vengeance. That's something I've seen before.
I want to see who's in the top right now doing the stand under Bridden. I think that's Mika. Mika, he's got the Arim Staff, obviously. We've recently seen a buff to the Arim Staff.
And who's he fighting right now?
Because
the guy he's fighting has got Fury as well. Both guys, both very well geared, very high levels.
The difference is the combat level. Mika's a significant amount higher.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Tartartar's 95, Mika's 122. He's got the superior gear, he's got the Fury, he's got the, obviously they both have Furies, but he's got the Carol's top as well. The Arim Staff, which is recently buffed, like I said.
Yeah, he's got a huge advantage here. Obviously, he's been sweating out the past week as well, like 120+ combat. He's got all his high level 99s. Who's here? We've got Robert, 120 combat. Bruce left, the guy's asking. He's almost out of food. Robert going to win his first 1v1 potentially. We're all rooting for him here in the studio.
So 13
brews left.
All right, okay. 13 against 3. Well, best of luck.
But this could be mind games, right? I wonder if Robert does have 13 brews left.
Potentially. I mean, after this first 1v1 situation, their inventories are going to get restocked as well, which is going to be really nice. So if you've gone into the final, the 1v1, you're just a bit unlucky, not have the right supplies left, and you made it through, at least you've got more of a fairer chance in the future fights, at least. Again, just people bolting each other. We've got mostly range and melee fights right now. So obviously the overhead prayer we're seeing right now, prey range is their little missile, and the prey melee is a little sword above their heads. That basically reduces damage from your opponent by 40%. So getting those prayers right at the right time, trying to fool your opponent, give some mind games, trying to make him pray the wrong thing. That's where you do the more DPS.
It's absolutely paramount to get those prayers right.
That's where the skill really comes into these kind of fights.
So if you can switch your offensive gear and your defensive gear to trick your opponent into thinking you're going to attack with a certain attack style, they switch their prayers, and then you switch back fast enough into your other offensive gear and offensive armor, then you can deal the damage to them before they have time to change their prayers accordingly, which is basically what we're going to be seeing these guys do. So you'll see them a lot walking around. They'll be firing bolts from their crossbows, and then they'll be trying to...
Sorry to interrupt you there, Skidder, but it seems like over on our camera here in the blue corner, we have a player that's just about to take out an opponent. They've just taken down their prayer using a combination of mage and range, and that's it, they're down. That person's going to qualify. If we can get a right click on them, that'll be great. Someone's a little troll, apparently.
He's got 1 HP left.
He's got 1 HP left, and the guy just can't hit on him.
Tanking it.
He should stand back and bolt him, though, because otherwise... Actually, it doesn't. I was going to say he should stand back and bolt him to avoid the...
So that member there, actually, in the whip, can get a right look on that name, as he is going through... he is part of the team Legends, or previously Legends, now known as Door Closers. And yeah, that gear setup, oh my god.
Who was that? Who was the person that just won that
Not too
fight?
sure. He's got a crystal shield. We can get a right click on that name, the whip. He looks like a really high level. He's got a really good chance of going quite far in this tournament. We get a right click just to the south of the fight with Robert. There we go, Tartar.
Okay, Tartar.
So I think a lot of the members of Legends have changed their names to try, you know, bait out other people from fighting. Another fight going down. Oh, Robert's made it through. He's won the first 1v1. Guaranteed himself a spot.
Robert.
That's fantastic. Another ball fight going on right now. The stepping under tactic that you spoke about earlier, is that Mika that's doing it?
He's doing a lot of the stepping under tactics, yeah, but the...
Has it paid off for him? He's got no food left. Who is this, these two fights going on right now? The D-Med, the D-Simi, the D-Defender?
And he's being poisoned. He's being poisoned as well. Street Jimmy is poisoned D-level with the Emerald Bolt.
I mean, this goes to show that, you know, having that really great gear, when you put on the Mystics, even though you can use Mage then, that's got very low defense bonus, and those bolts can hit through that press so easily. And unless you catch those freezes and actually, you know, really make the most of them, it can't really do much for you.
Yeah. We see a lot of people as well that have been using the leaf-bladed battle axe over the scimitar and the whip, and we've just seen someone fall to the southeast.
He had a Phoenix on as well. The Phoenix Light just breaks on, what, 10-20% HP?
And what was that guy's name?
Cat's not hot.
Cat's not hot.
Unfortunately.
This guy there, the top right, has got a defense cape as well, 99 defense. That's going to make him go far. Obviously, not everyone's the same stats, not everyone's got the same gear, and that makes a huge difference in the final. We have a tweet from Rushton88RS coming in. Manked, a.k.a. Sebi Woo Woo will win. Hashtag Deadman Winter. Oh, he's through! He won as well. Can we get a confirmation on Manked Up Mage's account, because we've not seen him once taking part in these 1v1s.
Yeah, we can reveal his name now, right? We don't need to hide what his name is anymore.
So Manked Up Mage's strategy going into this was to change his name, hide it on the live stream so no one could see what his name was. He wasn't targeted by the opposing clans who know that he's a very good Brid and that he can make it far in this 1v1 tournament. It's obviously paid off for him because he's here, he's won his first fight, and he's going to the top.
Manked with the mind games, paid off.
Absolutely, yeah. So that low combat level that we were talking about earlier, so he doesn't stick out like a sore thumb, it had actually paid into the detriment of other players. Adam, for example, both Sick Nerd and Boaty, MMORPG RS Curtis, all of those people were really high combat levels, and they were targeted in that final area and just clumped.
99 defense cape coming in here. He's got the Granite Shield as well, giving some huge defense bonus. What was the right click on that name? Sorry,
that was
on a PKR.
On a PKR.
Yeah.
On a PKR. I think he's part again of the clan Legends or Door Closers as they're now known as. We have Ilmini over here as well, fighting someone else. And again, Pony Rider, only 89 combat, like 30 combats lower, but he's grinded out for the gear. He's got the Darox plate legs, he's got the Guffin's helm, and that defense bonus definitely makes up for the lower stats the other guys got.
But the other guy, sorry, Swin, continue.
I was going to say, those of you at home who might have been competing, you're in the know, you're in the clans. If you can get in touch with us via Twitter, let us know kind of what's going on, who your calls are going to be, who do you think is going to take the win. I mean, like we saw with Manx, name change there. We don't really know who's who. At the moment, we're just speculating in terms of plans. If you can give us the knowledge, that'd be fantastic.
One thing that I really want to mention as well in the top left here, you mentioned that Pony Rider, sorry, has the he has the statistics advantage with his combat stats. He also has the statistics in terms of how good his gear is. However, he was losing that fight significantly because he was only using one combat style, whereas the other person was using a combination of both range and melee. He was switching into his leaf-bladed battle axe, sorry, and hitting him on his prey range, and he was forcing this other guy to stay in his prey melee, so we didn't know whether to prey range.
This fight here between Ipuja and Woozy seems to be almost over.
Literally
I would imagine that Ipuja is just literally sitting on brews at the moment, no other supplies. That's going to be really difficult to keep himself up on, especially if you've got no restores, because his defense is going to be lowered. He's not going to be healing that much at each dose that he'll be taking, and I'd probably say that they're going to fall any moment now. There's the redemption prayer. That's it. They're fallen. That's another person going through. Congratulations.
How many more fights do we have remaining, actually?
It seems like these might even be the last two fights to go through. Alexander and Chicken taking on each other, the leaf-bladed battle axe again, stepping under tactics like Elliot mentioned earlier, but was that D-Bolt specking a 0? Oh, that's so unfortunate.
That is very unfortunate.
That guy might actually win that fight with his D-skirt, despite not having the best gear in the game. This other guy, Alexander, trying to DDS spec, do some damage. He's got some sick gear, but he doesn't look like he's got many supplies left. He's also 20 combat levels higher, but just by ranging this entire time, getting his prayers right, he's done very well. And we currently have only 8 deaths remaining until this first round is over.
And we can see as well, this guy, he went for a couple of desperation specs there. He's now in his mage gear. He's got him with the freeze, and he's doing the stand under Bridden. He's on literally around 5 to 10 HP.
I think the situation here is that he, in the 64 versus 64 areas, in the final areas, he was probably taking a lot of damage, lost a lot of supplies as a result. I think if he came into this with full supplies, he would have had a sort of much better chance of beating Chicken here. Or maybe Chicken is just an unstoppable force who knows exactly what he's doing. How I know, right? I was pretty surprised too that Chicken made it through from that, but maybe we'll see him go far.
I think there was a massive advantage to those who were in the Anacol final area as well, because that was over like. Bam, straight away, right?
That's what happens when you sit around and you don't, engage in combat and take care of the other team fast enough before the fog starts hitting in.
This is a good fight as well. He managed to bolt him through his prey range there. Didn't actually manage to finish him off. He red barred him. Obviously, we're seeing a combination of both range and melee here. These two players don't seem to have freezes, but they're just going to be using range and melee. They need to fake out their melee attacks. They're both praying range. They're both hitting with range.
They're probably nervous.
And they both have melee.
Has he got no prayer left? No, he's trying to prayer flick, I think, his prayer because he's almost out of prayer. Is he trying to? He
needs to one-tick a melee attack.
Oh, no. It's going to come down to literally... Oh, he's got a food left.
He one-ticked the melee attack. He hit 2 zeros. How unfortunate. The other player, both of them now with 0 prayer. So it really comes down to an RNG fest here. He's got the Major Arena 2K.
Oh, wow. That looks beautiful. And look at those switches, too. Straight into the tank as the DDS spec came in. This guy knows exactly what he's doing. What's his name? We get a right click, because that guy looks like he's going to go very, very far. I'd put him forward for being one of the potential competitors. We have 30k Madness and Jacob Bro. I think it might be 30k Madness that went through. We've got Murder Cat as well here. We have Best Hybrid Ever. Also known as Wiggled. Fighting each other right now, but yeah, look at that Darroch Sax coming in. No full Darrochs though, unfortunately. That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, this fight in the bottom left here, obviously, we're going to see some stand under Britain as well. And I think the guy with the prey melee up in the Crystal Shield has a significant advantage here. And I think, from what I've seen, based on the other guy's attacks, he's very low in food. He went for a very, very audacious and desperate Dragon Dagger spec, and didn't manage to do any damage. The other guy was praying melee, had his full tank on, Crystal Shield. He was pulling out DDS specs, so it seems as though he's in a state of desperation. He's being completely worked right now.
And just trying to bolt the whole time as best he can, but 28 Blood Prod coming in. He's staying full HP pretty much, and there he goes. The guy in the Carol just can't tank it much longer.
Hey, he's so close to dying. I keep thinking he's about to drop, and there he is with his 1 HP.
That's someone to look out for, that guy, Jacob. I think his name was Jacob Bro, actually. Yeah, Jacob Bro, level 116 combat. Very high level, very proficient hybrid as well. And his gear as well is very nice, too. He's got the Major Arena 2K we said before, the Aram Staff, which gives a little damage boost now.
So unlucky, though, yeah.
Yeah, zeros constantly, but that's to show the RNG. But that's a very deserved win for him, going through to the next round of the finals. Next up, we have a tweet from Speeding saying, good luck to Fools, Lit, and Frontline in the finals, hashtag Deadman Winter. As for Fools members, not too sure if many of those have gone through. We definitely know that a few of the Legends members have gone. Oh, is he out of food?
We just saw a 22 Darroch Sax smack.
That was a 0.
He's doing this for you, Ian. He's doing it for you.
Oh, please do, mate. Get that Darroch Sax. Yeah, he is doing it for me. Yes, buddy, let's do it.
Oh, no, he's actually got some food.
He's only got a little bit left.
But it looks like, based on his prayer flicking, he's very, very low in prayer, so... This guy, if he flicks a smite, mate, he's guaranteed himself a victory.
I'm still waiting for that.
Someone is very, very passionate about the Dragon Dagger in the audience tonight.
Huh? Wow.
I remember...
Maybe we should just go sit back down there.
I remember my first Varrock's Finest too, eh?
DL Swifty against this other guy here. Looks like both got no prayer left either, so just waiting for the hits to come in. Now, I would obviously say the Ranger right now is definitely a much better chance of winning. I'm surprised the other guy wasn't using range either. He has 99 range cape on, so definitely the best DPS against some high-level armor, especially if you've got the Diamond Bolts E, which looks like a lot of people are utilizing in the final. Obviously, their special mechanic hits through defense bonus and can do a lot of damage very quickly. Surprised, actually, so I see a Darroch's helm on the floor. Do they have time to pick that up? Or maybe the guy before just didn't have, already had a helmet that was best in slot.
You're given some time to loot. One thing to say, you can't loot, obviously, other consumables. It's only gear.
Okay.
We've made sure, which is kind of consistent throughout Deadman, is that any degradable items, such as barrows, they remain intact, so you can loot them and use them the next way. So if you happen to be under-geared and you still manage to best your opponent, like you're in for a great run there.
We saw that earlier. Level 90 beat a level 110, I think it was. So clearly the underdog by stats, but also gear advantage as well. He must have picked up a few extra lutations there, giving a better chance to progress forward. We have the Emerald Bolt E coming in. Hashtag Foolsbay. We have a Fools member in the final. That's good to see.
Obviously, Like we were talking about earlier, we have both Fools and Door Closers that have formed a bit of an alliance. They competed together in the Wilderness Wars tournament before as well. So yeah, I was going to predict at the start of this, if we did do some proper predictions, I was going to say it will 100% be a Fools member or a Door Closers member. It's kind of hard to get used to calling them Door Closers, but I think it would definitely be one of them taking it. It would be nice to see one of our content creators on stage take it, but...
It would have been amazing to watch. On the topic of Door Closers, last night there was a little bit of a conversation going back and forth. I was sat with Pure Spam for a while. There were some very creative names coming forward and what potentially...
Ketchup Boys was one of them, I believe.
The Kappa Smorkers.
The Kappa Smorkers too. I'd refuse to call them that.
Interesting.
I wouldn't read it out.
But looking at this, it looks like this fight's almost about to end. The poor chap with the rune kite and the Barrow's helm there is probably going to be falling soon. We're having a look at the arenas where we're going to be moving on to once this fight is over. At the moment, they're unable to compete. There's combat's been disabled.
The disrespect.
The BM.
As well.
Look at the BM.
Well, to be fair, the guy against him was being a bit salty earlier, but he said the GG. He's conceded. And there he goes. He's going down any second now. Also, guys, if you are at home, you are competing still. If you're in these last rounds of the 1-2-8, you're still through. Give us a hashtag in-game. Let us know which team you're with or if you're a solo player. GG. The crowd loves the disrespect from range there.
That was the first round of 1v1 fights that we've seen. Everyone has progressed, apart from the 50% obviously who were eliminated. So we're going to go into our next zone. Obviously, I like the change of scenery.
So interestingly, what's going to happen going forward now is that each round that the players fight in, they're going to be resupplied. They're going to get sharks, Karamwans, they're going to get Saradomin brews, restores, and combat potions.
Yeah.
I'm going to give these guys a moment.
Wow.
We'll wait.
So, can I just say, I've casted events with Jagex now for over 2 years, and I think you guys take the cake. Being in TwitchCon, being at RuneFest, being at ESL before, you guys are fantastic. So give yourself a round of applause too, honestly. It's overwhelming. Wow.
This is crazy. Like 80 people can outweigh like 1,000 that we've done before.
Quite literally.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're about to get into round 2 of the 1v1 finales. As we saw a second ago, actually, a lot of the players are really well equipped now. We're going to see Barrows versus Barrows. Not many people are being underdogs anymore, but mostly most people in like 100+ combat. And we're going to see some really skillful players coming out, and a couple of hybrids too, actually. We see more hybriding,
I think something that we're going to see more of is hybriding or tribriding, utilizing their magic, their freezes. Because in the first stages, obviously, if you're able to utilize the freeze, if you're able to utilize your magic and your ancient magics, you're more likely to progress through the first stage. So obviously, the more stages that we go through, we're going to see some more interesting fights, and we're going to see some more dynamic PK in as well.
Well, we're jumping the game again in 10 seconds. Let's jump right in for the second round of the finale of the Deadman Winter 2017.
So this round of fights, we're seeing people restock. I'll wait for this.
Oh, this crowd, baby. Go on, Swin.
Robert there, getting a lot of home support.
People love him.
Well, the 1v1s are continuing right now. We see some Barrow just flying in, a couple of hybrids, and like I said before, everyone's going to be in very, very similar gear now. Look at that guy with the DDS flying out. Go on, hit a Rambo. Oh, it was on play range. You could have KO'd him.
That's a couple of DDS hits he's hit on the incorrect prayer. There's another one. Was that a 12-0 followed by another 12? This guy here in what looks like to be the superior gear. He's got the granite shield, which obviously grants wonderful range defense. He's got.
What is this?
Right.
Showing the love. It is a tournament, 1 versus 1, PvP, but doesn't mean we can have, a little bit of flowers in the background, nice little scenery. And Robert now trying to take on his second opponent. Who is it? Spuds by the looks of things. This guy's got 99 range as well. Robert doesn't have 99 range, but he does have 99 melee stats. And with that, and the whip, means he's got a very good advantage against fighting this guy. He's only got range base, so he's got to just hit through the prayer as best he can. But does Robert have any prayer left? Oh, he does. He's trying to prayer flick, and that might be the meta now, because these fights go on for quite a long time with limited supplies.
Robert just did a huge amount of damage on the wrong prayer there. And I think one thing we're going to see here is, although Robert doesn't have magic, and he can't utilize magic, he is superior in both his stats and his gear.
Oh my gosh, look at that guy in the middle with the DFS. Duncan has got a great chance of winning, but he's fighting another hybrid as well.
This is going to be a good fight. I want to stay on this fight. I want to stay on this fight till the end.
till the end. Oh, 0-0 did yes on range break. Could have killed him there from around 60, 70 HP. And this guy before as well, Tar with the crystal shield too. Taking off the
He's
helm
doing the
and
helm
everything.
take
He
off.
knows exactly what he's doing. Trying to just, take out that extra bit of DPS as best he can and really give himself the advantage against another guy who's very equally skilled and very equally matched in gear.
Another thing that we're seeing as well from the guy in the center is when he's in a position whereby he needs to eat, he's putting on his tank gear, which will defend him from both range attacks and magic attacks. He's equipping the Carol's body, and then he's praying the opposite to what he's defending from. So he will equip that, and then he'll pray range. So he's most likely, if the opponent that's facing him does cast, he will most likely splash anyway. And we're seeing him utilize a lot of one-tick attacks. So if we're going to talk about one-tick attacks, what we're talking about is basically you can equip something and then hit your opponent on the exact same tick that you do it. So your opponent won't have time to react to that.
Yeah, in terms of people that don't understand RuneScape and don't know what tick is, basically you're just pulling out your weapon at the smallest amount of time possible, so your opponent can't change their prayer or react in time, and that's where you catch them out. As I said before, the overhead prayers they've got on right now reduce damage by 40%, so it's absolutely crucial to make sure you're getting them right, as well as trying to mind game your opponent into changing into a different style that you're not going to use yourself.
Yeah.
Both these guys just range bolting right now. Seems to be quite a common tactic between a lot of players. Stacking up on a lot of food, not having those extra switches in the inventory in terms of having a mage switch, having the melee switch, having the potions for it as well, having the runes as well. They get so many more supplies, and obviously range is very tanky in this game.
Yeah.
Well, interestingly, in terms of supplies, in these stages now, everyone will be given the exact same amount of food, of potions, of restores. The only difference being however much free inventory space they have.
That's what I mean, that's what I'm saying.
So if you want to take up more food, you're going to have to drop a little bit of gear. But ultimately, we figured it out so that if you're going to have full switches, you'll still have enough. Some people, I hope they've not got pieces of gear in there, they've left food on the floor. That would be tragic.
What we've really tried to avoid this time is people brewing down and not being able to get themselves back up, culminating in no hits taking place whatsoever. So as far as I'm aware, we've only given everybody 1 brew and 2 restores.
Oh, beautiful.
The rest comes in Shark and Karamboan. So people can eat, and it should be quicker rounds.
That's something that I wasn't expecting to see in the final area. In the fight just on the right-hand side, the guy with the range cape and the crystal shield is actually using Vengeance.
Yeah, I said that earlier. Wow. He's only level 90 combat as well, so quite a low level to have that.
Yeah.
And definitely, utilizing the extreme power of the range tank, taking a lot of absorbing a lot of damage and dealing a lot through the prayers and through the armor. Range is definitely a good strategy to go for, one that's been adopted by many players in this situation. Earlier, we saw 2 hybrids. We'll go back to that fight potentially. I believe one had a DFS, and sorry, Elliot.
I was going to say, for viewers at home that might not be as avid RuneScape players as us, or have the knowledge of the game as we do. Would you like to explain what Vengeance is and what that does?
Yeah, of course, Vengeance. So Vengeance is a lunar-based spell which you can get from doing a quest, which not many people do. It requires a lot of time, requires a lot of effort in terms of getting your skills up as well. But once you've got Vengeance with 94 magic, again, a very high requirement to get. It basically deals a proportion of damage that you get dealt every 30 seconds back to your opponent. So let's say you're going to be hit 100 damage from that. Around, is it 75% that gets hit back? I think it is. So 75 HP will get hit back to the opponent, and that gets used every 30 seconds, like I said before. So a really nice strategy to go for. And I've only seen one person actually utilizing that. Is Robert out of food?
I think. Robert was so overzealous in his attack there. He was so overzealous. He kept himself low HP. He's obviously got the correct prayers up. I believe he could have died. As we can see.
I think he's doing really well. Takes going on now, but the P-neck is currently on. That guy must be out of food. Wielding the Phoenix necklace, breaking on 20% HP to healing a little bit of HP.
He's got a whip as well.
Oh, does he? He's actually got the combo as well. He's out of food. Oh, he's got... No, that was the Phoenix neck breaking. So Robert here on full HP. He's definitely taking this win. He's
Robert's got pitted as well. Robert's got pitted. So as we can see, when Robert and the other guy attack each other at the same time, the hit will come up for Robert before the other guy here too.
Comes down to the last little bit at the end there. He's going to win due to that. Anyway, looking around again, I think he's taking this win. So let's go check out some other fights going on and see how everyone else is doing. It's such a shame, actually, the 2 big hybrids that we saw earlier. One of them being in a DFS that we said earlier, 114 combat, 100 combat, both being very good hybrids. Just unfortunate they find each other in that second round straight away. Only one can surpass. And I guess there's a lot of luck involved in who your opponent is. There we go. We've got Matt and Robert.
Matt and Robert both winning the second round fight simultaneously.
So that means they're down to 32 players remaining now.
I have a feeling it's going to happen. What happens if we see Robert v. Manked in the
final?
Oh,
if we see Robert v. Manked in the 1v1, what's going to be hilarious, because in the rehearsals, Chris Archie asked Manked, will Robert outlast you? And Manked said, how dare you, Chris?
It will be a brotherly fight going on right there.
Let's put an ultimatum here. If that happens, if Robert v Mangt is the final 1v1 and Robert wins, I will shave my head.
What?
Yeah? Balls.
What? Ben said it here.
If that's not a challenge, I've never heard one before.
Can we Twitch clip that so we can grab that later when Robert goes through to the final and takes it?
Can you do it tonight?
It will happen tonight. An additional wager on top, as if $32,000 of a prize pool wasn't enough.
Oh, is that an Abyssal Dagger we see? Oh, wow. That's a very rare drop from Abyssal Demons, or if you want to go kill the... is it the Sire you get that from?
Yeah, you kill Sire.
But I don't think anyone's got 90+ Slayer to be able to get
I imagine, I believe, is the drop rate from Abyssal Demons to get the dagger?
1 in 30,000 or something.
1 in 32,000, I think.
So that guy got very, very lucky to get that weapon, and that being actually the best in slot weapon for melee in this game right now. The only other thing people
It
have got
might
is a
be the
whip,
best in slot weapon in terms of strength bonus that we've seen here. However, he's about to die. And the other dude's going to have that.
Oh, that gives him a distinct advantage. Obviously, having the Fury as well means that he's going to be very strong. High defense bonus, the Carol's top 2. And he's just tanking.
He's laughing. Look at him. ... Oh, my God. Imagine if he wins.
Oh, if he comes back from this, honestly, that'd be absolutely unreal.
That would be the biggest injustice of 2017.
Nope, not a chance.
There we go.
And he takes the win. Tartar going through 105 combat. I believe one of the Legends main members, or door closers as they're called now. And Mangtap Mage just relaxing, chilling. Actually going to announce a cheers right now.
Yeah, I want to say...
the audience, because, you know, we got some...
Cheers for everyone that's come out. Cheers for everyone at home.
I pulled the short straw here. I mean,
you've got the
They don't trust me with enough, so I have a little baby cup.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
So everyone at home as well, thank you for tuning in.
That was perfect.
We'll reach over.
Redo that. Redo that.
What?
Redo that. There we go. Oh, my microphone's in the way.
Well, that's enough for me now.
Yeah, you're done.
That's it.
He's out.
Right, should we jump back in there? Oh,
send
wait
it.
Now for
They're
the
saying send it.
I'm not sending it. I'm not sending it.
So for anyone back at home wondering why this is happening now, we've just finished up that section of the 1v1, so we're waiting to go on to the next stage. While that happens, players can't compete in combat. They're making sure they've got the right supplies, that they've picked up everything that they can off the floor, giving them a few seconds, and as soon as we're ready to jump into it, we'll go straight back in.
That's a good bit from the beta feedback we had. Initially, we had it, once you progressed and your opponent happened to be in the same ring, you can just crack on and keep fighting and fighting. But ultimately, it might mean someone races through to the final and he's sat there waiting for ages.
Yeah.
Although
we've got a countdown
for no man. Here we go.
I love how they're just
third round.
They're just like one separate entity, like the crowd.
And now we have the
more flowers.
32 going through. Who is Robert up against in his first fight? Was that him there in the flower strategy again against?
It is
Oh,
Robert,
no.
and this is where Robert falls, I'm afraid, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely.
Wow.
He only has 2 combat styles. He's being completely worked at the start here. He's getting his prayers wrong. He's being barraged. The other opponent is utilizing 1-tick attacks. He got that prayer correctly. But I can't see Robert taking this. I can't see him taking this at all.
I mean, looking right now,
look at the damage.
29 there.
It's it's going to be very hard to come back from this one, and I'm afraid that's the way it goes. I mean, at some point you have to fight someone like this who's a lot better geared, has been playing the game for the past week with the intention to go through to these 1v1s and take it.
It's also a completely different strategy as well. We've got Robert who's just sticking with melee for most of it, but actually we're looking at mage, ranged, and melee from his opponent. Yeah, they might be losing 1 inventory space because they've got a load of mithril seeds to make a load of flowers. That's cool. But ultimately, it comes down to switching those gears, making sure that he's doing the right attacks against the opposite prayers, so he's doing absolute full damage.
Yeah.
Robert's constantly going to have to be keeping an eye on what gear is being swapped out, what attack style is coming next.
I mean,
Because
as
if
you
he
say
misses that,
as you say, he actually gets 2 really good DDS specs on prey range. Unfortunately, though, both hitting 0-0s. That could have been a really nice comeback, hitting a double 30-30 maybe. And again,
there's
on prey
another
range,
one.
Oh, that's just the bad RNG for him. But I guess at the same time, he's fighting someone who's got a crystal shield and max gear pretty much. I mean, he has got some extra food, though, like you said before. He doesn't have those switches. He hasn't got mage with him. So there's a good chance to potentially outlast.
I think the difference in food has already been been diminished by the amount of damage that Robert's had inflicted onto him, yeah?
That's unfortunate. Can we maybe fly over to Mangt as well and check out some of the other fights, see how it's all going? As we've sat on this one for quite a while now. We've got a tweet coming in from...
by the looks of things, sorry to interrupt you, Ben, you probably won't have to shave your head now, unfortunately.
Well, who'd have thought it?
Of course, Ian's about to read that comment out. I've just seen it.
Oh, I didn't even actually read the tweet. I was just trying to talk about something else.
Deadman mode tournament needs a kiss cam.
I honestly, I swear I didn't read it.
Compliments and kissing.
Anyway, back into the fight. It looks like Robert, like you said before, he's just not doing any damage. Just check someone else out. What we got over here? Right clicks, Rapalol, 119 combat, almost maxed. 103 combat for Hacker. And that guy as well, very nice gear, but both just ranging. Have they got any melee switches at all? Doesn't look like it. So just a range fest of who can hit the most. Oh, they have got melee switches. They're trying to bait each other out, change the attack styles. And these kind of fights come down to prayer. Making sure you're prayer flicking, because you're hitting so little damage over such a long period of time. If you don't have enough prayer left, and you then lose your prayer, your overheads, that's such a big difference, and you can't really come back from it, can you?
No, absolutely not. And we can see again, it's just a fight where they're utilizing two combat styles where they can't include freezing. So they can't maximize that DPS by standing under their opponent. So they're going to, what I want to see is a lot of one-ticking, and we just saw one there where he one-ticked the bolt and going straight back into the whip, but unfortunately he's hitting zeros.
Yeah, camera 2, I think we've got someone in the last legs now, throwing up Redemption Prayer in between attacks, and there we go, got a drop. I don't think we managed to get the switch across the cameras.
Unfortunately, we didn't.
So who was that who just died anyway? We're taking the lead.
Take Sween's word for it, someone did fall,
Someone
they had
died.
no health.
Would we be able to get a glimpse over at Manked Up Mage's fight?
I want to see how he's doing. I'm not seeing his setup.
I want to see Seb. Yeah, I want to see Seb. We've had a lot of focus on Robert.
He's most likely the only content creator now left on that stage, and maybe left in the whole tournament, that has got a chance of taking the win from this.
So we've got Robert on camera 2. I think you got it on camera 1 now. Yeah.
Robert
no.
is about to die.
Throwing up Redemption, his last
wow,
legs.
Clever. If he can Redemption the whole way back again, that will be the comeback of the century.
That was such a nice one-tick barrage from the person that was fighting him there.
Yeah, the guy against him definitely deserves to go through. Goofy over there, Goofy puke.
And he's throwing up the smite of disrespect, and there he goes. The 25
Robert has fell.
Get a round of applause for the man, Robert. Commiserations.
Congratulations, though, to have made it so far.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. Especially as a target. I mean, come on, anyone that's a streamer that's a well-known name, they're instantly a target.
Yeah.
I mean, of 2,000 people as well that were entered into this tournament, he made it to the top 32, which is not something that many people can
Incredible.
say. Another fight going on here again from the two Rangers, just trying to whip each other and change their prayer styles, trying to make sure they have the wrong ones, their overhead prayers up, so they can do as much damage as possible. But it's a very long fight, and I believe they will run out of prayer here. One opponent has Diamond Bolt C, one has Emerald Bolt C. Do you want to talk about those quickly?
Yeah, so Diamond Bolt's Enchanted, they penetrate your defense with the special attack. So there's a 1 in X chance. Sween, do you know the exact figure of?
I don't really know. You're best off having one of QA or the content devs in on that one.
Yeah, so there's a 1 in X chance basically of your special effect of your bolt hitting. So with the Diamond Bolt, it will penetrate defense, whereas the Emerald Bolt will poison. And that's another player down there, and it's Bro Alexander. Is it Ace or Bro? Ace. I can't read.
Ace Alexander.
It's Ace.
Oh, that is Manked, apparently. 104 combat.
My eyes are so bad.
Oh, bless you. he is through to the last 16 Manked Up Mage, showing how good
Let's
he is.
get a round of applause.
Yeah, I know, right?
Come on. Let's show some respect for Manked Up Mage. That's huge.
That's really huge.
So everyone in the last 16 guaranteed to win a prize, which is something we haven't done yet. So
do you want to talk about the prizes that are going out?
Sure. So first prize, $20,000. Second place, $10,000. Third and fourth, $1,000.
Oh, wow.
Everybody else, a year of membership.
So if he wins the next 2 rounds, he's basically guaranteed some kind of prize. He gets the top 4.
Yeah, so you get to the semi-finals, you get $1,000 each.
Wow. That'll make him go home a really happy man, but he's gone through, and he's the last of the content creators to do so.
And
what a 1v1 situation.
If Seb does come victorious with the £20,000, I think it's fair to say that drinks are on him.
I was going to say the same thing. The next round's on him, man.
No, that was a spectacle. I didn't realise that Ace Alexander was Seb, so thank you for the confirmation.
I appreciate that.
Quite a weird name to choose. I wonder how he came up with that.
Well, talking about his gear as well right there, he had Crystal Shield, he had pretty much max mage, max range as well. He's got 99, I think, in both stats.
Yeah.
And he's opted for that, Farcast technique of not getting too close to his opponent, being able to, freeze them in place, walk a little bit away, and then, make sure they can't get into the melee distance. He hasn't got any melee stats himself. And so far,
he seems to be the fan favourite in the
crowd.
With the audience tonight. We've got the Manked Up Mage chant going on, so.
There it is.
Look at that.
But just take a moment as well to let's just think about what's just happened. We've just watched 3 rounds of 1v1s go. One after the other, after the other. Everyone's fighting. We can follow it. Clearly, I think it's safe to say that these changes in the finals, we're about to see some more of them, but they have most possibly been the best ones so far.
For sure.
Let's jump straight back into it. The crowd does go wild. And here we go. Oh, the Star Bash of
the Star Bash, and that was on Seb as well. That's got to be a really, really frustrating way to start a tribrid fight. And this is going to be one that's going to be incredibly interesting. Seb coming back with a huge bolt of his own.
Was that a 40 Diamond Bolt? Oh my gosh! So both these players here, we've seen them both hybriding really well. Mangtan Mage obviously being one of the best PKers in Deadman mode, never losing a 1v1. He said, or is that about to change? He has the flowers.
Still bringing the flowers. Loving that.
That's a really nice tactic. Obviously, the flowers being able to
The only thing is, you can only move west with the flowers. You plant them, you move west, and
you can't then place them down again.
So he's cornered himself if he's against the western wall. I was about to say I stand corrected, but he actually just became unfrozen.
You've got a tweet coming in for you, actually, Elliot, from Kadzi.
And he says, send it.
Send it! Anyway, we have the fight going on right now, like I said before. I mean, both these players have proven themselves in the 1v1 situation of being very, very prominent, very, very capable. But Mangtan Mage now being frozen again under his opponent. Oh, it's another fight. This is Jacob Bro and... Oh, sorry, Mangtan Mage is this guy here, CIA. Period.
Okay, so this is Seb. We were previously misinformed on who Mangtan Mage is. We've now got confirmation that it's the guy here on the right, CIP, with the Carol's top on right now.
Fakies, buddy.
Look at his gear he's got as well, so he's well equipped to get through the rest.
Oh yeah,
especially if he can start looting everything else to carry him from the final.
I mean, looking at his opponent right now, his opponent now has obviously the Carol's top and such, and the good tank gear, but only Mystics. Now, Mystics versus Arims is a huge deficit. Having Arims extra mage bonus attack style, extra defense bonus too, and you see it right now. He should hit a lot more freezes, much chance of hit them. But the other guy has got a whip, which is a nice counter to
and he's also got a crystal shield as well. But one thing we can definitely make note of here with what Seb is doing is he's utilizing different attack styles quickly, succinctly, and trying to attack with different attack styles before his opponent can change his prayers accordingly. And he's now utilizing obviously the stand under Bridden as well, so he should be able to deal a massive amount of DPS here without really receiving too much himself, right?
I'm really surprised to see the Dragon Bolts E as well here, because those things cost a fortune and they get used up very, very quickly.
Expensive.
One of the best in slot bolts you can use.
You've got 20 grand on the line, I mean, you pay the price, right?
I'm sorry?
With 20 grand on the line.
Oh, yeah, of course. Dragon Balls are definitely worth having. They'll make the difference,
and
won't they?
I think he just picked some up off the floor.
Oh, really? I mean, everyone's worth a lot, isn't it, in this fight?
Look at Seb with the smite flick. So if you guys at home don't know what the smite prayer does, the overhead prayers that we're seeing, that blue one that you're seeing flicking up there, it actually, basically it drains your opponent's, opponent's prayer level based on how much damage you do to them. So if you attack off tick, where you can hit smite up and then get your defensive prayers back up straight afterwards, you're going to maximize damage, not only in terms of raw damage itself, but damage in terms of prayer reduction too.
We saw Jacob earlier doing really well in his 1v1s, and I was saying earlier that he's one to look out for, but Mangt making quick work of him. And
he is absolutely rinsing him right now.
If we look at the main feed, we can see his face. I mean, he's looking a bit wooks at the moment, like absolutely.
I mean, the concentration is real. Having to do the APM for hybriding is compared to nothing else in the game. It cries, in my opinion, the most skill, most click-intensive mechanics in the game, as well as obviously having to know what your opponent is doing at the same time as what you're doing, and having to change and counter that. And that's where the real skill comes in, as you see him right now.
I think it's fair to say that Seb's won this one as well.
Won that. That was a huge win.
Incredible. I don't think I saw him eat a single piece of food.
Baby. And the crowd is also chanting for him right now as he's down.
That is making me so happy.
He's got to win one more round. And
also, looking at this, it seems that Goofy Punk had also won his fight. So not only Robert, but his other opponent that we believed to be Manked Up Mage at the time, who wasn't, has also fallen.
I can see quite a few members from the clan Legends, actually. As I said before, previously, we thought that they'd be going quite far as they're very, very strong in the 1v1 situation, not so much in multi, potentially, compared to some of the larger clans. But they're proving their worth right now, and they have quite a few members flying in.
Definitely.
Look at this guy with the DFS as well. This guy's an absolute tank. We can get a right-click on his name as well.
He's against the guy with Vengeance.
Yeah. And he's utilising it well as well. He's deliberately leaving his prayers on the wrong... he's leaving his defensive prayers on the wrong one. baiting his opponent into attacking with the correct attack style to deal the maximum DPS, but then using the recoil-based magic attack Vengeance to obviously inflict additional damage onto his opponent, which I think is a good strategy.
We have Cow Slayer 2011 coming in versus Esquidit level 111 combat, and both, again, just ranging and whipping each other. It seems to be a meta adopted by a lot of players. We've only actually seen a couple of hybrids in this tournament, which is a big surprise to me, considering how many went in. I think you had some statistics yesterday, Sween. We were looking at players that on the high scores and such, and the Magic in particular. There were like 100 people that had 94 mage in the tournament.
I think it was just slightly less, maybe perhaps 98. Bear in mind, this was around, what, 1 a.m. GMT earlier today.
Yeah.
So they might have spent all of today sweating it out, grinding up the magic level there. Talking of meta, like, so you're seeing lots of Arims, you're seeing lots of Leaf-bladed battle axes. So these are items in the main game which had their...
Wait, there's no way. Sorry to interrupt. Is this guy on food? I was like, what? I think he is.
He was sitting very, very low HP. That might have been his last brew step.
I think he is out of food.
He's gone for the desperation DDS spec. Can he get it? He's hit a 0-0 with the DDS, coming in with the 0 whip off the prayer. This is so unfortunate. He's in such a desperate situation right now. Completely red barred. The other guy's Vengeance, he can't win. He cannot win.
He can't win because of Vengeance. There he is. He's died to his own hit. Oh my gosh, that was so surprising.
That was such a good play.
He was 122 combat, and Kalmar's showing the tactical Vengeance can definitely defeat high-level opponents that have that, three-way switch with the tri-bridge switch with the mage and the melee as well, and that crystal shield. Maybe those extra inventory spaces, that extra food, really makes a huge difference.
It just goes to show that it's not always down to what gear you have at the time. No. We're looking at a crystal shield, very good in defense, but the Dragonfire shield absolutely trumps over it. With the strength bonus as well, it's going to give advantage to melee. It's going to be better against range, and this opponent was primarily using range, but unfortunately, someone just had a better game plan.
Well, Cow Slayer just beat Esquidit.
And
I think that might be the last fight of the round.
Potentially. And that was the last fight. Perfect. Just talking quickly up against the fight we just had a second ago as well, as the crowd claps for another 1 versus 1 situation. On to the final 8 now, aren't we?
We are indeed.
But the guys you just saw a second ago in the Crystal Shield, the Vengeance, that guy now, after defeating his opponent, has the Fury, has the DFS, has got a huge, significant gear upgrade. Now, if he can beat someone like that, 15 levels higher than him, who has a much better, in my opinion, setup, then he could go all the way as well, and he'll be very difficult versus Mangta Mage, and probably one of Mangta Mage's biggest competitors right now in the finale.
He's going to potentially be that character, yeah, exactly. We're looking at a guy that went into this and thought, oh, I'll get Vengeance on a whim, that it might help me out. And when you look at it overall, the time invested to get there probably put him at a disadvantage compared to all of these high-level players. Now that he's in the position that he's got Lunas, he's got the Vengeance, he's also got all of this insane gear, and he's been resupplied. This is probably one of the strongest accounts in the finals at the moment.
It was one of the sickest wins I've ever seen. He put himself in a position where
he just couldn't lose.
Well, anything can happen in those situations. You have ancient magics, melee and range. Your opponent has the exact same. You could be 10 HP, your opponent could be 99, both out of food. You could win with 10 HP. He put himself in a position using Vengeance whereby that wasn't possible.
Extremely clever to think of. But at the same time, though, also a risk because you lose out on the ability to use Ice Barrage, which means you can't do the freeze, step under, saves you a few ticks.
My money, personally, if Mank does come up against... apologies for forgetting his in-game name at the moment, but if he does come up against the gentleman with Vengeance, I think Seb's going to win. I think the recoil damage inflicted by Vengeance does in no means or in no way outweigh the damage and the DPS that can be inflicted by having your opponent.
I think if he's going to play it correctly, if he's going to use Barrage to its full effect with the step under, with switching in between range, making the smite in between there, you look at the damage of a Barrage against a no mage prayer. It's going to be a lot higher than a Vengeance hit against a prayer that attack you're praying against.
Absolutely, and I think we're going to go over to Chris Archie right now, who is about to interview Manked Up Mage, one of our finalists and our last on-stage content creators.
Hey guys, we're wow, this crowd. Oh, they're cheering for me. I'm not competing. Thank you. Couldn't resist the opportunity to interview one of our on-stage players here, Manked Up Mage, is also live streaming himself. We encourage you to go over, open up his stream alongside. He's made it into the top, top 16? Are we at top 8? Top 8. How are you feeling?
Pretty nervous now that I've seen the other guy's gear. He's got a DFS, so it's going to be a hard fight, but I'll do my best and see what happens, really.
Okay, so talk to me about the strategy. You've changed your name. We were looking for you. We couldn't find Manked. We were like, where is this guy?
So basically, my team that I was originally going with all had Anacol spot, so I found the wonderful team Lit and managed to change my name and fall in under them. But I think they've been generous and they realised and they've let me live to represent them, I think. So I might be fighting for Lit this tournament. But yeah.
Okay, and confidence level going into this fight, just base level, do you think you're going to win this one?
I'm going to say it's down to RNG at this point. The gear is really good on his half, so we'll see.
All right, well, best of luck to you, Mank. You've absolutely won the crowd over. Congratulations, and good luck.
Here we go.
That's interesting. That's interesting to know that the rest of Seb's team, Mank's team, were actually over an Anacol.
And that goes to show where the splitting of the two final areas does break up clans and does reduce their chance of making it to the final area.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we have 8 finalists left for the final 1v1 of the Deadman Winter 17. Here we go. Mank Top Mage versus, oh, is that the Venge PK? No, it's another hybrid called Duncan who has the DFS too, and Mank
Seb
straight away.
catches the initial freeze, dealing an additional amount of damage with the bolt. He's utilising the step under Bridden here. He's got him on the rope straight at the start, taking a 17 damage as well, so he's slightly evening it out. But I think we can see this is he's going to be unfrozen very shortly.
I mean, the guy right now not doing any damage back, clearly panicking just a little bit, unable to catch that freeze, but now he's got it, he's back in the game, but not deciding to do the same mechanic as Manx. Oh, he is, he's going underneath as well, and obviously his gear is definitely overpowering Manx. He's got the DFS too, which is a huge defense bonus compared to the Rune Kite Shield in particular.
Because when you're the one that's being stood underneath and you're frozen, if you're then trying to barrage someone else, it's obviously you can't spam click that.
Because you've got to click the barrage first, then click them.
So you're forced into a position whereby you have to range them or you have to melee them.
Unless you're very, very quick and you can constantly spam the barrage to the opponent, but
yeah.
We'll see Mank doing that later maybe.
And because the other gentleman has the Dragonfire Shield, when he's utilising the step in under, Mank's going to be at a severe disadvantage, so.
Yeah, but if Mank does beat him, that means his gear does upgrade as well. He'll go from having a Rune Kite Shield to the DFS, as well as, I guess he's got the Fury Ray, doesn't he? Any other upgrades, really. I guess the Varrock's Helm is also a little bit of a buff compared to the is that Guffins he's got, or Torranx? I think it's Torranx, which gives extra prayer bonus too, which will help, especially in these fights where prayer is just so paramount to winning.
I'd love to see Mank's invent. I mean, I know he's got Dragon Bolts, which aren't going to be effective against the DFS.
Yeah.
Of course.
Has he got a ready supply of Diamond or Emerald?
Ooh, maybe he'll think about switching them out after this fight's over. That
if
might
he's just going to camp Dragon Bolts, then he's like,
definitely
not going to get the spec effect. Admittedly, they've got high damage.
They're like Rune Bolts compared to Adu.
Yeah. But that spec could carry him through.
Yeah, is it worth it? Let's talk about the Venge PK again. Let's go find out what his fight's going through, because I reckon he's going to go through, and I reckon Mank might beat him in that final, if we can jump across and find him. Nope. Okay, we're going to send this fight against Mank Top Mage then. Well, Mank doing an absolutely fantastic job right now. Doing DPS.
We are following him on second camera.
Oh, the second account. There we go.
It's the Flower Room. It's the Flower Ring, yeah. So Calamars versus Goofy.
And Goofy being 117 combat, having the Tribrid setup, Arims, the Barrage, the Fury, he's got the tank gear, he's got the Crystal Shield, which is the second best in slot compared to the DFS, so a little bit worse, but still a very competent shield to use.
From what I've seen, is it Goofy?
Yeah.
Goofy seems like a very, very competent
Oh yeah, he's really good.
Definitely a force to be reckoned with. And his Flower Arena right now, I think he's one of the favorites to win at the moment. And like I was saying, obviously, I still believe that the utilization. Look at that. He's just zero-tick barraged him perfectly.
But he's taking zeros because, well, okay, let's talk about this. This guy with Vengeance, right? He's got the DFS. He's got a huge defense bonus. Not only that, he's got 94 magic for Vengeance. As I said before, having higher magic means your opponent is less likely to catch freezes on you, less likely to hit you. In combination with having Carol's Top, which has a huge amount of mage defense bonus as well, it means that those barrages are going to splash consistently. And the more he tries to be, barraging and catching those freezes, sitting in his robes, the less defense bonus he has, the more damage the bolt's going to hit through his prayers.
One thing that we were seeing him doing really, really well, so he was switching into his offensive wear, his offensive gear, so his staff and his shield. And what he's then doing is he's waiting for his opponent to hit him with whatever combat style they're using. He's going to switch into his magic offensive gear, which is going to be his robes, which then opens him up to basically loads of DPS because robes don't have good defensive bonuses. He's barraging and then instantly switching out of his robes, so he retains the use of the offensive wear, but not the offensive gear.
And that's absolutely quintessential to actually, combating the huge DPS of range, even through prayers. Unless you've got that high defense bonus on as well, it's just going to rip through you and take out a lot of damage with the Vengeance as well.
Sorry to jump in on the second camera. We're actually following Mika 279.
Oh, so Mika's this far in. Wow, we've not seen him in ages.
So if we get a switch across there we go. You see him on the main camera.
So Mika, of course, being a content creator as well, streamer and YouTuber, 122 combat. He's been going hard, same level as Boaty was earlier as well. He's fighting Cow Slayer right now. Mika obviously has Tribridge set up too. He has the Arims, he has the range, he has the melee, and he's utilizing them really well. Looks like it's actually working for him. The DDS Spec finishing him off.
He got the Prey melee up just in time for the 17-0, I believe.
We still didn't absolutely work, even through prayer. The range bolt's hitting a 13 there.
Yeah.
His opponent, Cow Slayer, is sitting on fairly low health. Okay, he's 8 now, but he was sitting on low health considering.
I think it's been too late with the prayers. I mean, I saw him a few times, had the melee up still, getting bolted at least 2-3 times in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, the great thing as well is just seeing the variety of weapons within this finale as well. We're looking at Arim's staff received a buff. It's now got a magic damage bonus. It's one-handed. It never used to be.
Similarly, Leaf played the battle axe. I was making this point last round or the round before.
Wow, there we have. We just had a faux fall there.
Who was that?
That Mank that's gone through?
I think that was. It was Mank that's just gone through.
Kite shield. We missed that. Oh my God! He's guaranteed in the top 4, which means he's guaranteed prize money. I can't believe it.
He had the disadvantage in terms of gear, still managing to outskill his opponent, regardless.
And the crowd are going absolutely wild. It's almost impossible to talk over the crowd right now, screaming their heads off at Mank Mage has done very well to secure his final place in the top 4. Now can Mika join him there? And will Kalmars versus Goofy? Looks like Kalmars is actually out of food with his vengeance, but his redemption coming in, and it's almost no food left. Has he got enough one? No, my gosh, it came out to the wire, but Goofy going through another hybrid, 117 combat as well.
Goofy Punk has done absolute work.
He was doing bits, and he was utilising Blood Barrage a lot as well.
Completely. Every single fight so far, dominating.
Is that a name familiar to you, or is it?
Oh my gosh! Wait, has Mika run out of prayer? He's run out of prayer, and he's got no food left now as well. Can he finish the fight off? The P-neck just broke, healed him off just a little bit. Is it enough to guarantee this win for him? The other guy's got P-neck too. It's going to break any second now.
Food's back up.
Oh, he's got prayer. Is he trying to prayer flick, or is he just not putting it up right now? I'm not too sure about that. Maybe he just lost the last bit of it. He needs to do something special here, because if he doesn't...
Here we see again, he's barraging, and watch, as soon as he casts it, back into his defensive gear. Look at that. He makes sure that he's not susceptible to any big attacks from either melee or range, which is obviously completely paramount in these situations.
Poison damage whittling him down. So one thing we didn't do, actually, is give him any way
Oh my gosh, the P-neck as well broke one more time. How many P-necks does he have? What? That's like the 3rd one that's broken, not Cow Slayer, but Mika actually has brought so many P-necks, probably from the last fight. He might have picked a few up. Obviously, P-neck, like I said before, once you get down to 20 HP, it does break and does heal you and absorb some damage, which is really crucial in these last few moments. But Cow Slayer, tanking like an absolute beast, still holding on as best as he can. The 0-0 Prey range, unlucky for Mika. Can he win it? Can he come back? He only has one P-neck left. The other guy seems to be out of food. Oh, it's so close. I don't know how to call it, guys.
I think I need to get a right click, but the guy on the left has the prayer advantage.
Yeah, of course. Mika has another P-neck. That's the 4th P-neck he's had.
Cow Slayer should win regardless, though. Cow Slayer should win this.
No, with that bolt spec.
Flick.
Oh my Goothix, he's gone.
He's done it.
Huh?
He missed one
prayer flick and it cost him the actual volley.
It's all that matters.
Unbelievable. Mika going through, another content creator, 122 combat. Very, very deserved. And here we go. That's the final 4 then.
That was incredible by Mika. I think that was so fortunate for him. He was in a massive disadvantage there. His opponent, Cow Slayer, had prayer points over him. He was flicking up every time. He missed one prayer flick.
And that cost him.
And it cost him the entire match.
But at the same time, he was sat there tanking for a good, 30 seconds. Mika just desperately trying to barrage and hit just one freeze. That's all he needed. Yeah. But he just having to keep using the P-necks. And now, being 3 or 4 P-necks down, if he had brought those P-necks into the final, that would have been such a nice advantage, because no one else seems to have them. But now they've been relinquished off him. And it's all going to come down to his hybriding skill versus Manked if they're put up in the next round.
Final 4, everybody here has won $1,000 at least. They're guaranteed $1,000 each.
So a round of applause.
That's amazing. Congratulations, Manked Up Mage.
We can see Seb's face cam right now. And we can see the deep breath that he's taking. He's getting psyched. He's getting zoned.
Can you imagine being here right now?
It must be petrifying.
Well, let's be honest. This is the difference between having $1,000 or 10,000 or 20,000. So I mean, the pressure's on for him right now. The prize pool is what, 32,000 altogether, isn't it?
32,000 total, yeah. And everyone who plays between 5th and 16th, I believe, gets a year of membership as well.
Wow, awesome. Well, congratulations to the participants that just got this far so far. Predictions, guys. Do you reckon Manked Mage is going to go all the way?
I've got to root for him. Just because he's on stage, he's done so well to get as far as he has.
And I think as well in the previous tournament that we saw him in the 1v1 tournament with the PvP championships, in the first round he fell short. There were a few variables that perhaps didn't play into his advantage. There were maybe a few things that were a little bit a little bit unfair with what happened, and I want to see Seb take this one.
I would love to see it. My hair's not with him, but my money is.
He's a good bloke, eh?
He is.
The crowd support has been ridiculous as well. At times, I can barely hear you guys over it.
No, yeah, I know. I'm screaming. I'm screaming, and I'm like, all I can do is Manked Up Mage.
Oh dear. Me personally, I think Mank's got a really, really good chance. The other hybrid he's going to fight, Mika. I would say that Mank is a better hybrid than Mika, but saying that, Mika does have 120 combat. He's got the whip, he's got the full drive and much higher level. We're about to find out, I guess, as we jump into the final 4. Let's do this. Mika versus Goofy, which could mean that Mika and Mank might make it into the final together.
Which means that Seb Manked is fighting. Can we just get a right click on that again, sorry?
He's fighting Rupper, who's also hybriding by the looks of things. Are they both hybriding? Looks like they're both hybriding. So we've got 4 hybrids left, which goes to show that maybe hybrid is the best setup for the finale in the 1v1 situation here.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw the guy with the Vengeance go out previously. It was a very close fight, but nonetheless,
looks like Manx actually has changed his bolts up. It looks like he's got Emerald Bolts E. I'm pretty sure he's the guy on the complete right, isn't he?
Yeah.
In the other DFS and the Aram stuff. Okay, awesome. Yeah, he's changed his bolts up. As we said earlier, he only had a couple left of the Dragon Bolts potentially, and he's been very clever to switch them over without running out. Imagine running out of bolts this far into the tournament. It'd be devastating. Oh, sorry, no. Manked Up Mage is to the right. That's Mika that's actually changed his bolts up.
So one thing that I want to point out here is Seb, Manked Up Mage, actually eliminated the guy with the DFS, but didn't pick the DFS up.
No, I'm also confused by that. He's only got the Rune Kite Shield, so that's why I thought he was the guy with the DFS. But no, he seems to be on the right-hand side with the Torrek's Helm, with the Fury, with the Mystic Boots, and he's fighting the guy in just range and melee, so he's got a distinct advantage there on the right-hand side. On the left, we have Mika, the hybrid, versus another hybrid, both doing very well to get this far. I have no idea
How do we
who's
feel
going to take
about
this one.
Mika versus Goofy Punk?
Oh my gosh, look at those barrages. Sorry, 38 barrage was that.
That was huge. I want to get a left click.
It's Mika taking the damage.
Mika's getting
no.
absolutely worked right now. He's getting absolutely worked. Not only is he being barraged, but he's being blood barraged. So what that does, if you're unfamiliar with how blood barrage works, not only does it deal damage to your opponent, but a percentage of the damage that you deal, you will heal to your own hit points.
Yeah, and that makes bringing Blood Barrage into this final area really worthwhile. Obviously, it takes another inventory spot using the Soul Runes, but I think overall it's worth it, especially for the final area in multi, where you can get those big freezes and heal up a lot of HP at the same time.
You know, we were toying with actually restocking runes and stuff as well, runes and bolts. And in the end, we thought, no, that would defeat the point of the week of preparation too much. We settled with food and potions, left it at that.
Yeah.
Looking at the fight to the right, I would say that Mank's actually doing really, really well, but this guy is such a tank, and he's absorbing so many hits. As for Mika, he's got to do something special to come back now, because the other guys' prayer flicks are on fleek.
They absolutely are. And is that Seb that's just... No, it wasn't. Seb tanked a Gmaul hit, a 0-0 there. I think he did manage to get his prey melee up in time.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is very fortunate, because something like that can be... You know, you don't want to see these fights end prematurely. You want to see them go down to the wire. You don't want to see Manked Up Mage get G-Mood out from half HP.
I'm honestly so surprised why I didn't take the DFS. I have no idea. That's potentially going to be a really big factor in the next fight and in this one right now that he's got. Goofy has a DFS as well.
Maybe we overestimated the time period by which you're allowed to loot.
No, he just didn't know. I don't know. We'll have to talk to him after the tournament's over to find out exactly what the reasons were.
Perhaps it was stage fright. We'll just have to leave it at that, and we'll find out later on, I guess.
That was to the best of us, eh?
Yep.
Is that Mika out of food now? It looks like he's got 1 P-Neck left still. How has he got so many P-Necks on the
Where are they all?
Literally, that's 5 I think I've counted now. It's unbelievable.
He doesn't have food, he just has P-Necks.
Yeah, that's literally it. But I think he's out of food now, and Goofy's definitely going to take the win, which means that Goofy's probably going to advance and be one of the final 2 left. If he does die first as well, if Mika dies first, he is 4th place, which guarantees Manked at least 3rd. Am I correct? Or is there going to be a 3rd versus 4th place finale?
No 3rd or 4th
One thing that we've
no
seen a few times is where I was talking about previously where people are in their offensive mage gear, and as soon as they cast their barrage, they're switching into their defensive gear, so their Torrek's top bottoms, their Darok's top and bottoms, etc.
There we have it. Mika has fallen.
Mika has fallen. If you're off tick like we just saw there, and you're trying to do the same as your opponent, you're going to take maximum damage by being in your melee defensive gear and taking barrage hits. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to say no surprise there about a fight. I mean, Goofy is absolutely insane, and Mika did really well to come this far. Mika's not known for his hybriding ability or the fact that he doesn't hybrid much, but to come to the top 4 out of the top 2,000 that joined this tournament, that's absolutely, speaks volumes for itself.
Right now, I can't tell if Manked Up Mage's opponent is sat on low HP because he wants to maximize his DPS, or whether he's sat on low HP because he's extremely low on food, wants to maximize that DPS and doesn't want to put himself in a detrimental position whereby he's, you know, constantly eating.
Manct is doing an absolutely fantastic job right now. The step under mechanic we talked about earlier, chucks over a freeze, keeps the guy held for, what is it, 20 seconds? Walks underneath straight away, and the guy can't do any damage, and then he has to wait a couple of ticks, wait a few seconds, and he walks up again when his next attack cycle will hit. And that method just, you know, proving to be one of the most, well, I guess it is the best method so far, because the last people left are hybrids.
Mate, the pressure in him at the moment, like, winning this is $10,000 in the line, minimum guaranteed, if we can just get through this one fight.
Literally, if he wins this fight.
Your hands would be shaking.
Yeah, look at that camera. That is a concentration face if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, absolutely.
But right now,
I feel sorry for Manct here because he's just splashed, I think, 5 barrages in a row, and some of those were off prayer, and a couple of them were even against really low defense mage gear as well. So
I see on the floor as well, Dragon Bolts and Onyx Bolts East. They still have the bolts left, and it seems that Manct is actually out of food. So he's got to do something very special to keep this up. He's got to keep composure, not make any mistakes, catch the freezes.
He's a 29 barrage with the step under.
Wow, he's doing amazingly well. Can he win it? Can he ignore it
all his
back?
prayers. Step with the splash, the poison damage ticking in.
And just waiting a second, trying to be careful, making sure he doesn't get too much damage as he catches the next freeze. And
He
has to wait for the next cycle.
Refreeze. He needs to catch this instant
And if he gets
refreeze.
it, that'd
It's
be
absolutely
huge.
imperative that he does.
I mean, the guy's fighting right now is 15 combats higher as well. So his guy's got like much higher defense than Manct has too. Actually, no, Manct's got very, very high defense as well. He needs to catch freeze, but keeps splashing, keeps hitting zeros. And can he hit a bolt? No, he's taking so much damage.
Flick. He missed the prayer flick. He took the damage.
It's going to come down to the wire.
Another barrage.
Oh,
Opponent's got the P-neck on
P-neck,
as well.
yep. And that's going to make a big difference. He might have more than one, like Mika had as well.
So many times.
He's hitting so many zeros right now. The luck right now. Oh, he's out of prayer. Oh, he's trying to prayer flick. Potentially Ropper, unless he's been prayer flicking this whole time. Right around prayer first.
There we go. 30 barrage.
Whoa! But Ropper still has food left. Was that a P-neck that broke there? I think his P-neck broke. He's got a spare one, which means, you know, he's got a couple of food remaining. And now on to, like, what, 30 hit points left? That's all it's going to take. He's got no prayer left. I think it's 16. Oh, he's got prayer. He's trying to prayer flick. He's still in it. Just close. So close. He's got the P-neck as well, though. Will it break in time? Or he's going to get hit down? If he gets comboed out now. Oh, the G-Maul. Any spec? Oh, he can get killed at any opponent here. He needs to make sure the opponent actually hits like, what, a 15 or a 20 so the P-neck breaks. If he KOs him, the P-neck is of no use. He catches the freeze, which is really, really crucial in this situation. And
I want to see
again, down to the wire.
If the opponent's going to actually pull out the Granite Maul again, whether he actually has any special attack left is obviously unknown to us.
Oh, he has the flowers as well. Oh, no. Can he catch another freeze here? Because if he catches another freeze, the guy can't flower too much more. Oh, that's on the right prayer, but a 0. And again, down to 15 HP each. Can he do it? That's a P-neck breaking for both members. No. Down to 2 HP. Oh, my. He's got food left.
Broken. He's got another P-neck on. Ian.
Oh, my gosh. I don't know what to say about this.
He needs to hit his HP.
If he hits, yeah, they've got no prayer left. So obviously, hitting that, like, what, 10 HP isn't that difficult. But if it's a 5, the P-neck breaks, and the guy has another chance to beat Manct Up Mage. So he has to hope.
Oh, my days.
He did it.
Manct has gone through to the final. Incredible.
Wow. Oh my gosh. He has guaranteed himself $10,000.
Absolutely amazing scenes.
Deserved as well.
The crowd is insane.
Who would have thought it? A guy sat on stage 3 meters away from us has managed to fight his way through over 1,999 other people. And here he is, the last 2.
One thing that I screamed and Manct takes it, and I looked over at him and I was like, wait, did I get that wrong? Because his face wasn't excitement.
It was still just like pure composure.
It was complete.
Oh, yeah.
He was like,
finally.
He was taking a deep breath. He was like, oh my God, thank God, thank God.
Dude,
I
the
won
other
it.
thing is as well, as his bolt actually hit, his opponent's bolt hit him, I saw the Emerald Bolt E special attack go off.
Yeah.
So, I hate to say it.
Don't.
I hate to say it.
Oh,
but
here
that was
we
a big win by Manct right there, potentially. Right, last fight then. We got a 1 versus 1 Manct Up Mage versus
How exciting
Goofy.
was that?
That was
How
incredible.
exciting was that?
That was unbelievable. But
To have seen so many fights come down to the wire like that as well now.
That was
That's unreal.
as close as they come.
Okay, let's just talk about the next fight though. We're looking at Goofy Punk, the Flower Man himself, against Manked Up Mage. Goofy Punk, by far, out of all of the... Obviously, I mean, he's the one in the final, right? He, she, we don't know. But either way, they have shown that they're a formidable opponent.
Yeah.
They're going to be going against Mank now, who is also one of, as he said, undefeated in 1v1s.
Yep.
Is this going to be the day that Mank falls?
I mean, potentially. Either way, he's going and I'm happy. I mean, $10,000 or $20,000. I mean, me personally, I'd be over the moon. But I think Manked Up Mage. I think he's got a really good shot of this. Honestly, I really think he does.
It's just so nice to have someone on our stage here as well that's got so far into the tournament. We've got the crowd going absolutely wild. Me as a caster, I definitely haven't been even close to this excited before.
No, I don't think I've been 2 years of casting. It's unbelievable.
I don't want to burst the bubble right now, though, but let's not forget, Goofy Punk is wearing a DFS. Pretty sure they have Vengeance as well.
He also has, no, he doesn't have Vengeance. He actually has Hybrid setup too, but he's got the Tribud. He has a Whip. He has the melee stats. He's 120 combat, higher stats than Mank. Mank needs to keep his distance now. He needs to time the freezes, make sure the guy can't come into close quarters, because that Whip's DPS, that extra switch, will be a bit more for Mank to have to think about. He's got to think about the extra prayer switch. He's got to combat that, and it's a disadvantage for him.
He
so
really, Seb,
he's got to be tactical about
really
this.
needs to focus on getting the freeze and catching that freeze as close to the western wall as possible.
Yeah.
Because the short amount of time that Goofy Punk can utilize his mithril flowers, mithril seeds.
Does he have them?
Well, you just called him the flower man, so I'm going to assume
I think Goofy Punk has been the one that's been firing up the arenas, but have they used
really?
all 40 of them already? Imagine if it comes down to the line and
with one inventory space left, that's what matters, the mithril seeds.
Well, hold on, let's just imagine the scenario right now. The scene's Manked. Why have I forgot his name? Goofy Punk, thank you. Anyway, it comes down to a very similar fight as it was we just seen a minute ago. Both out of food, out of prayer, the last hit. Mank gets a freeze and stands underneath. And because Goofy Punk used all of the mithril seeds to cover the arena in flowers,
he has none left.
And that's what loses the fight. Imagine losing $10,000 for a flower show.
The irony of being nicknamed the flower man and losing because you have none, right?
Actually, do you know what's going to happen? I'm just peering over our other screen here, and this final area.
Oh my gosh, we haven't seen it.
I cannot wait until this gets shown.
Who was it that did the job on this, the development work?
Mod Rai. He's handled most of this in terms of art. He's been superb. We've kind of given him really vague stuff, like make the arena look cool, give us some cool stuff around the edges.
I really like the skeletons that are sitting on the wall.
No one's seen it yet.
We showed it in the beta, which you were there for.
Oh yeah, I was. You both were.
Of course. well observed, mate.
Good point. Anyway, let's talk a bit about the seasons again briefly, just to remind people at home that if you're enjoying what you're seeing right now, Deadman Mode season will happen every 3 months. It lasts for 1 month. It is released as soon as this tournament finishes, and you can jump into the game if you've got membership. You start as a level 3, whole fresh game, a new economy, and accelerated experience rates, so it's way more high adrenaline. PvP everywhere. If this looks like it's something for you, then give it a go is my best advice.
You could have 20 grand in your bank.
one of my biggest regrets of joining Jagex is the fact that I can no longer participate in competitions, because the first season of Deadman I competed as a player, and oh my days, it was the most fun I've ever had in RuneScape before. Me and 2 friends, we were out there. I'm not a very good PKer by any means, but just that going out there and killing someone and then claiming their bank key.
Yep.
That feeling, you can't beat it.
So you say you competed. Did you actually compete, or
we played for around about 3 weeks, and I was sitting at 94 mage, 99 ranged, and I was basically using barrage into range.
Oh, wow, nice.
Cool.
And we've just got communication from above, and Chris is going to actually be interviewing Manked Up Mage one more time prior to going into the final 1v1 against Goofy Punk. Send it away, Chris.
All right, guys. Wow. Who would have predicted? Actually, I kind of said it in the beginning. He claimed to be the best Deadman BKer, never losing a 1v1 ever in Deadman, and it's kind of holding true. Here we have Manked Up Mage, at least taking home $10,000, at least taking second place. Manked, what is going through your mind right now?
I'm just scared for this man because he's pretty much maxed at the moment. So yeah, I'm just. Oh, and he's there. He's in front of me. He's got a DFS as well. So it's going to be an intense fight, but I'm happy with how far I've come. And yeah, I'll see how it goes, I guess.
All right, now talk me through this entire tournament. Wow, the audience is so happy. Talk to me about the strategy. What exactly did you do to get yourself into the finals?
I've basically just been trying to DD people, so barrage them, then stand under and bolt them, and just fake mage and then bolt them and just stuff like that. Basically just the generic tribrid stuff when you're NHing, just trying to trick them, I guess. And whether it works or not is whether they change their praise, so we'll see if it works on this guy. He's a scary opponent, though, so we'll see.
He's very good. We've been watching this guy behind the scenes, keeping an eye on him. We were like, this guy is freaking good. No doubt. So best of luck to you. Actually, sorry, I didn't mean to kill your confidence. He's terrible. This guy's terrible. Best of luck to you. Again, you've completely won over the audience. Your Twitch chat is absolutely loving it. And best of luck to winning this thing.
Right. So I just had confirmation, actually. The last player left that Mank's up against, Goofy, is a clan member formerly known as Pat Fussy. And he, yeah, I know, you're going like, oh my god.
I know
you know him. He plays every seasonal, and he's ready to take on the final.
I've had a few run-ins with Pat.
Yeah, same. He's been playing for the past 2 years or so. So again, like a prolific member. And he is representing the clan Execution, who used to consist of a clan called AC. So shout out to anonymous community out there as well. They've been going since the first early days as well. And I think Execution's planned this week round, if we'll talk about that a little bit more, the tournament, they started out getting the bone crossbow, getting the bone bolts, and getting really far ahead, like, you know, gearing up their members like that. And I guess that's why he got so far ahead. About to see Pat Fussy versus Manked Up Mage in the final of the Deadman Winter.
That's the predictions. Who's taking it home?
Manked Up Mage. There we go. The finale.
One. And Mank faking him out instantly with the bolt, unfortunately hitting a 0. He gets barraged, I think it was an 11, and stood under straight away, and the same thing's happening again.
Yeah, the freezing under tactic of getting the guy frozen and stepping underneath is just so crucial for this kind of play. And the DDS spec coming 2. And there we go, the Tribridge setup. He's got the melee stats too. 0-1 on the right prayer there. Very unfortunate for Pat. But he's doing really, really well now. 50 HP advantage, actually. It goes to show that 120 combat is so worth it.
Wow, 27
barrage.
27 barrage. That's absolutely huge, and it's very much needed. Unfortunately, he's managing to plant the seeds. Obviously, you nicknamed him the Flower Manny, and he's living up to that. However, Manked Up Mage is delivering significant amount of damage through his armor there. He's caught him off prayer a couple of times. He's managing now to adapt and get his spray melee up just in time for the DDS specs.
I'm pretty sure every single one of those DDSs actually were the right prayers. He just got unfortunate with the RNG, wasn't able to quite hit enough damage right now. But here, on the back burner now as well, that Tribridge setup going to show that it's very, very crucial. When they're in such close proximity like this, Mank needs to get that distance, needs to make sure he's not got that extra switch, because that's where he gets caught out and gets hit by the DS specs and the whip. And the DFS right now proving so tanky, hitting 0s on robes, and back in with the melee right now. Again, that's going to do a serious amount of damage, isn't it, Elliot?
It is, yeah. It's going to be ridiculous amounts of damage, and the DFS obviously proving so strong.
Oh my god, the 27 barrage.
There's one straight back at you, hey man.
Yeah, I know, right? Pat is doing really well right now.
1 for 1 on the 27 barrages.
Oh, he's an absolute machine right now. He keep getting the freezes, keep stepping underneath. He's using Manked Up Mage's tactic against him and proving that he deserves to be here in this finale. But it's not over for Mank yet as he catches a freeze and he's going to try and step under. But the Flower Man retaliates with his flowers, planting the seeds, moving to the west.
Did you see what Seb did there? Mank caught the freeze on him and ran, and instead of standing under him, he stood 1 square west.
So that he walked into him.
Predicting the flower plant. I don't know if that was intentional or if it was just an accidental misclick that made him look like a mechanical genius. But either way, it was cool to watch.
And right now, obviously, walking towards the west right there, the flowers got him right against the wall, so he wasn't able to actually plant anymore, which was quite nice for Mank. And Mank's now trying to keep him in that corner, but taking so much damage down to low HP right now. He's got to recover and catch that freeze before Pat gets underneath him and continues to take it.
He's definitely doing a very good job, though, Mank himself. Being a lower combat level, lesser gear. He's putting up a really good fight, doing a lot of damage himself.
I mean, I'll be honest right now, I can't. It's still way too early to call. I've seen it going very back and forth, both players doing a lot of damage. It just comes down to the wire. Like, you've got to get that consecutive, you know, getting the freeze, doing a lot of damage, getting the freeze, doing a lot of damage, and get that advantage. And as you pull ahead further, the opponent will start to panic, and they'll start to realize they need to really start doing some damage. And obviously, in a tournament like this, when the final 2 players is a difference of $10,000 and $20,000 grand prize, everything is on the line.
I mean, we see Goofy's like better geared, but we saw him earlier in the rounds just dismantling people who had better gear than he is, taking their gear. So it's not as though he's just like, I don't know, some kid who managed to get lucky with RNG.
Yeah.
He's got the skills. I think, I don't know, I want to back Mank because he's here, crowd are loving him, but I think Goofy's going to take it personally.
Yeah, he's been doing a really good effort of actually getting the right prayers against Mank. Mank's now keeping prey melee up, starting to panic a little bit, I believe. Everything on the line for him. But regardless, he's going to walk home a happy man. $10,000 or $20,000. I can't call it yet, though. If he catches another freeze here, it'll be absolutely crucial for him. Right now, the Flower Man,
and the big barrage coming in.
There it is.
Is Seb out of food?
Wow. No, there's no way. Already? He's got P-Nex left, though, and they will break on impact if the guy hits a 1 or a 2, which give him another chance to stay in for a bit longer. There it goes.
He's out of food.
The 0, but he's got the P-Nex breaking, so he's actually got a little bit of HP left. He's got to come back like an absolute beast right now. Audience, give him some support.
cheer on
This
from
is
Hank.
going to come down to the wire. He needs more bee necklaces. I don't think he has any. We've got some mad audience support here. Seb's on 1 HP.
It's so
This
he's got to
barrage
catch a
could
freeze
be-
and step underneath, man. That's his only chance to actually come back from this right now. He's got to catch a freeze and step underneath. He's got the Prey Major. He's doing very, very well of anticipating every switch that Pat is throwing at him right now, getting the bright prayers up. Oh, the retribution! The skill right there.
The poison coming in there, that could be the end. The blood barrage, the zero.
He's
Look how
catching
close.
he's catching every single prayer pretty much, dude. He's doing an absolutely fantastic job. Oh, unfortunately for him, Pat taking the win.
Have it. Goofy Punk is the winner.
There it is. Goofy taking the win. The fireworks going off to commend him on his $20,000 victory for execution. And there he is, celebrating and dancing away. Manked Up Mage taking seventh second place, taking $10,000 home too, though.
Manked Up Mage obviously was the fan favourite. Everyone here
oh my gosh.
evidently wanted him to win, right?
He's done amazing.
Evidently wanted him to win. I think he'll be happy with $10,000.
absolutely.
Claiming
Most
second
definitely.
place, limiting himself.
Wait. Full Blazers? Was that a collaboration between Manked's team, Legends, and Fools? I thought that guy was from Execution.
We're hearing from Robert a solid yes.
Yes, he is. That means, oh wow, I thought it was from Execution. He's changed teams, changed alliances, and looks like Manked's team, regardless, has gone through, have taken first and second place, showing their true power in the 1v1 scenario. Congratulations to both of them.
That was impressive to watch. And just again, I want to say, like, we were talking about this earlier. Mank specifically limited himself, so he wasn't a target in those final areas where it was Anakal and it was Falador. He put himself in a position whereby he was the lower combat. He didn't want people to look at him and be like, I don't want him in the final 1v1s. Get rid of him. We'll pile him, right? He put himself in a position where he's lower combat, and he fought his way through with significantly lower stats than a lot of people that he faced in those 1v1s, and he came second.
In the past, we've seen Rot, taking win after win after win. This tournament, they didn't take part in it. Now that the tournament has really changed around, and we've got the scenario of having a 1 versus 1 finale, it goes to show that other clans, such as smaller ones, such as Fools and Legends, that do much better in those 1v1 scenarios, have a much better chance to maybe take the throne from Rot. They now want $30,000 from this tournament combined. So
It benefits them. It benefits them massively because there are so many individually talented PKers that excel in those 1v1s. But I've just got notified. I've just been notified that Chris is actually going over again for an additional interview.
He's
with
a popular one today.
He's been interviewed. A fair few times here. But I imagine this one's going to be more interesting because he's just won $10,000. So over to you, Chris.
Hey guys, we're joined here with Manked Up Mage as well as the rest of the streamers. We're here to interview everybody at the end of the stream. Unfortunately for those guys, however, Manked ended up making it way, way farther. Second place, $10,000. Manked Up Mage, how are you feeling?
Pretty happy. Like he's shouting, yeah, drinks on me apparently. But yeah, no, I'll be buying a new PC, I think, so I can actually stream, because it was about to die, so it's very fortunate this has happened.
That's awesome. You can buy an incredible PC for $10,000, I would hope at least. How are you feeling during that fight? What was going on?
I went into it kind of knowing he had an advantage because he had Piety and then max stats pretty much. So considering I only had 3 days to prepare for this and he had 5, I'm very happy with that outcome. And I know the guy who just beat me and he's a very good tribrid, so I'm happy with that.
Fair enough. Do you want to talk a little bit about your strategy through the Deadman tournament here? Anything that you wish you could have changed, maybe?
I think it all went as smoothly as possible. Maybe get a bit higher prayer or pick up the DFS. So yeah, I had 3 people, Sparks, Mormor, and Kevin helping me get this account in 3 days. So huge thanks to them. And yeah, I wouldn't change really how I approached it. Maybe just get melee and Piety in the future. And yeah, I think that's my change. But it went really well. So.
All right, well, you played incredibly well. That was absolutely incredible to watch as well. So congratulations again on second place and $10,000. We're now joined over here with Curtis, MMORPG, unfortunately falling a little bit earlier, but not the first to fall. You have that pride still. How are you feeling?
We were rolling around with me, Sick Nerd, Rakesy. We were going to go to Anakal, but Fool's already locked it down, so they pretty much picked us off. And Sick Nerd fell first because he got frozen by Rakesy, I believe, so they killed themselves. And I just ran, yeah. But yeah, it was a really good tournament. I'm really happy for Seb. Like, I wanted the content creator to take it, and 10,000, that's amazing.
Okay, and as a player that plays every single Deadman tournament through and throughout, the next season obviously starts as soon as this tournament is over, so any minute now the next season will be live. Any words of advice to the new players going into it?
I would say definitely qualify for it. Maybe qualify more than one account as well. It's always good to have ults in it as well to fund the accounts. But definitely play it. It's good fun.
All right, thanks very much, MMORPG. We now move on to Robert. Still. Robert, you did it. You actually did very well yourself. You made it into the 1v1s. Unfortunately, fell a little short, but you did make it to the 1v1, so credit to you. What was that like?
It was brilliant. I exceeded what I wanted to do. The person I died to was the winner, Psych. And I've got to say, I left him my P necklace, the Myth Seeds, Emerald Bolt, so I'm going to claim that as a victory for me. I helped him out there. GG Manked. But that was best Deadman so far, and I look forward to all the tournaments in the future. That was a really good job. Well done.
Fantastic. You really can't be upset about dying to the winner. So yeah, congratulations to Psych, was it, that won 20 grand. Yeah, he was in the PvP Championships. Very skilled player. Well, moving on to Sick Nerd. Unfortunately, the first to fall of the 4. Sick Nerd, what went wrong?
Shut up. Right. So me, Curtis, and Rix were rolling around together, and so we ran into a team. We were running away, and Rixie froze me to get away. So I went down first, unfortunately, but that was amazing. That was actually incredible. Probably the best Deadman final yet. I was legit shaking sat here. I really wanted him to win. I'm actually really disappointed that he didn't win. So it was really good.
Well, Manked will be buying the drinks tonight, so at least we can celebrate together. Now, going into the next season, the crowd thinks that's for them. Going into the next season, any advice, of course, as another Deadman veteran?
Don't team up with Rixie. He'll freeze you, and you'll die.
Did you at least get some good stream content from it?
I killed a bunch of like level 20s, so that was pretty good, yeah. Decent.
All right, well, thanks so much, guys. We're now going to throw you over to a replay package to watch back the best moments of this Deadman finale.
So this is the very start. We've just seen both of the supply crates drop. Obviously, the initial one was south of the lumberyard, and we saw that initial kill from Monty, who was wiped out. We didn't really see much of Monty.
I'll tell you what, the supply crates were a sick addition. I thought that brought such a nice new element to the demo mode finale and made it really interesting to watch the whole way through rather than just waiting for that final to ensue.
Yeah.
Kudos to you guys for thinking about that one, Swin.
I expected more competition for them, especially towards the later stages, but I think people played it safe. They tried to make sure they weren't they weren't putting themselves in face of danger by going towards the crate. So then we saw like level 50 or whatever it was.
As a result, then maybe next time round, people will be a bit more daring and fly in and try and take themselves a couple more crates. Look at that Rakesy, Tom getting a sick Gmaul spec there. That's awesome.
We might have more rooms. Like we said, initially
what happened to the level 57?
Yeah, he got dropped so quickly, didn't he? Yeah. So initially we wanted much stronger drops, like claws and AGS and stuff. People said no. So maybe seeing how they actually interacted with the game this time, we might have more scope to put some powerful stuff in next time.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And obviously 2 areas being really, really well, doing really well. Obviously Anna Carl making sure that those 64 players went down really quickly. Unfortunately, Falador took a little bit longer, but I think as a result, it definitely made it so that some solo players were able to proceed a bit faster. And it wasn't just dominated by one clan boxing each other at the end. Every single 1v1 was a proper 1v1, which is awesome to see.
I think something we can take away from this is that Anna Carl worked perfectly. Maybe we need to do some more research to find another area in the map that would suit better than Barbarian Village, which is too small, Falador, which is seemingly too big. How can we kind of coerce some more fighting rather than just letting the fog run riot?
Yeah, definitely.
No, I completely agree. Yeah, there was definitely the Anna Carl area definitely progressed a lot quicker than the Falador area. The Falador area became a little bit dull, a little bit mild to watch after a while. So.
But ultimately, again, it could have just came down to the composition of teams that were there. We saw at Anna Carl a lot of big teams all together with a few smaller ones. We even mentioned that the team that had already locked down the ruins, if they were going to be kind of like taken from each side, that would have completely destroyed them. Whereas if they were to hold the middle, get attacked by one clan, we probably would have seen a much longer drawn-out fight. But perhaps we didn't catch the action all at the same time. It could have been that they were just completely destroyed, wiped out faster than we'd expected. Whereas in Falador, we saw the clans taking each corner. That was a much slower progression.
Yeah. So in the final, can I just apologise quickly? The final player that actually fought Manked I got his name wrong. I believe it was Pat Fussy, who was from Execution. Actually, apparently it was Psych Jerpure, who's a very prolific YouTuber and PKer going back many years, and he's very well known in the community. So kudos to him for getting that far as well. Sorry for getting your name wrong. Apologies for that.
Okay, so at the moment what we're seeing is the 1v1. So what do you guys think of the formatting? Is there anything we can do to kind of improve it? Any small tweaks? One thing I noticed was we resupplied everybody's inventories.
Yeah.
Didn't give them any anti-poisons. So we kind of saw that whittling away their HP. That could have been a difference for some of these guys.
Yeah, I think one thing perhaps that's, I don't know, that you could take into consideration for changing would be in the format of the 1v1s, where it's obviously you've got 64 1v1s.
Yep.
I think maybe focus on certain fights at one time. And if this would have to be brainstormed, obviously, but the fights whereby you see like tri-breeding and hybriding are way more entertaining to watch than just the people that are bolting each other and stuff. So this would have to be like a change that would be extended to Deadman mode itself, rather than just in the final area.
At the same time,
to try and push people into having more combat.
Well, we had a lot of people in the tribal gear.
Yeah,
didn't we?
exactly.
So, and it shows to show that is the best method to go for potentially for the final. Maybe next time around we'll see less range raggers and just tanks in general.
I'm hoping.
Anyway, we're going to fly back to Chris now, who's going to interview Maxed Up Mage, I believe, on stage. Over to you, Chris.
Well, guys, we're back again. Not that Manked Up Mage needs another interview, but we actually have our anti-cheating specialists from Jagex here in the office. They've done their work, and they've found out the winner was botting, which means Manked Up Mage is the winner of the Deadman Winter Finale! You're now $20,000 richer. $20,000 richer. Does that change anything for you?
Changes a lot. It means I can stream on the evenings, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, because I can play whatever I want to play. I can play late because my PC kept on dying, essentially. So it's lovely.
And speaking of your streams, do you want to give a plug to your Twitch channel?
It's just Manked. So it's the beginning of Manked Up Mage, just the first 6 letters. Just Manked, yeah.
Twitch.tv/Manked. I believe you're still live right now on a 15-minute delay. You've just finished. Fantastic. Well, looking forward to following you through the next season, and congratulations on winning the Deadman Winter Finals. Well, guys.
Tell him you love him too.
I love you too. Thank you.
I'm just captivated by the second screen here. We can see the season live. Look at everyone going around the low agility course.
I know, it's crazy.
That's awesome.
Well, so many people trying to get their agility up to like level 30.
We're back on the couches here with our hosts and casters. What an incredible finale. It's now finally time to talk about what we just witnessed. So you guys being a part of it from the beginning to the end, favorite moments, what was going on there?
Mate, like I've said before, I know you guys at Jagex, and I know the community suggestions have always been pushing towards focusing on these 1v1 battles. They're trying to take away, well, I don't want to say take away from, but try and push towards solo players being in a situation whereby they have a higher chance of winning. I think you guys really, really hit the perfect sort of medium between clan-based gameplay, solo-based gameplay. The 1v1s was so exciting to cast, so exciting to watch. When it got down to like the final 8, the final 4, and then finally the 1v1 at the end between Psych and Manked Up Mage. It was incredible. I've never been so excited commentating something, especially if one of my, obviously, you know, we're supposed to be unbiased, right? We're supposed to be value neutral here, but like, obviously Mank's one of my close friends. We've known each other for years. We've played previous Deadman modes together, and to see him come victorious in the end is just like, yeah.
He really does, yeah. Like I said earlier, like the crowd in particular, this time round have been the best crowd we've had so far, and combined with that, the best tournament we've had in the past 2 years plus since we started doing them, really. And it just goes to show that, you know, it's still just blowing up so much. And next year, 2018, I guess you guys have got a lot in stock for the old school community as well. I can't wait for that.
So to kind of the viewers who might be a bit confused with the ending there, on the back of last season, we said we would be devoting more time to like moderating and resourcing, making sure it's the fairest tournament yet. We've been banning and disqualifying people through the week, and unfortunately, after an incredible fight, so props to Psych for giving a great fight, but we had to make a decision for the fairness of the game.
And it's completely understandable as well. I know Psych. I've PK'd with Psych on a myriad of occasions.
He's insane.
He's incredible.
Yeah.
He's so good.
I bet he's kicking himself right now, because like, if he didn't bot, he could have got himself $20,000, but had to go down that route, unfortunately. Goes to show, like, hopefully for future contestants in the future.
Like, I don't want to take anything away from his actual ability as a PKer, but
cool. Should we talk season?
Yeah, just a quick note. Nothing we've mentioned so far is to say that this means there is a new second place winner, and there's new $10,000 that's been just given to a different player. So it'll be interesting to see which player actually ended up coming third, because they've just been bumped up to second, haven't they?
Oh yeah.
How would that work?
Wait, is that me? Was that Mika?
Well, no,
it wasn't Mika.
We saw third and fourth. Both die. So how can we determine who elevates?
We'll have to figure that one out.
You've got to get them fight each other. Start another tournament up.
Okay. So what I say is probably stay posted. We'll come to a decision and keep the community informed of it.
Okay.
At the moment, I imagine we'll either distribute the 10,000 across the third and fourth, or perhaps we'll organise a secondary playoff, maybe in Jagex, something like that. But we'll get the info to you.
Yeah, stay tuned over the next week. We'll have that across to you, obviously. But yeah, tournament, I cannot believe how smoothly that went. When we were watching Manx fights up in production, all of us were yelling. It was incredible. And the audience, though they can't hear me, the best audience I've ever seen.
I'm hoping that the Twitch stream could hear the audience to some extent, right? Obviously not massively, because I think it would drown out the...
Oh, that's amazing.
If you can't hear them, you're probably sat there thinking, why is he just not talking now? It's because like everyone's shouting. I can't hear anything.
Well, guys, it's been an incredible season leading up to an even better tournament. We now begin the next season of Deadman mode, and as we can see, if we can throw it up on the screen, we can watch all of the new players running in live into the new season. There it is, it's right behind us. Beautiful.
Jump into the game, get involved, get participating, get into the top 2,000, and maybe next time, in a couple of months' time, you could be in the next, is the April, I guess, will be the next one?
Yeah, spring.
Yeah, we'll announce that at a later date. It's not officially confirmed just yet. But all you need is membership to log into these worlds.
Just so happens we have a discount on membership, Premier Club. Hey, I think ! Premier Club should be a command in the chat right now. But apart from that, guys, any changes, any spectacular changes rather coming into the next season that we want to talk about?
Yeah, so we saw the prevalence of a Crystal Shield in that tournament that is being disabled in the upcoming season. So no Crystal Shield. It was, I think it was too strong for the ease of it is to acquire it and the risk it involves. Like, whoever kills you doesn't really get much from it.
Yeah.
Because of the nature of the
Also,
shield.
one of the best changes I think you guys have implemented is the Barrow's chest now. Obviously, Barrow's armor was disabled on season, as it was deemed too powerful as well. So now it's been replaced with potions, with skilling supplies as well. So it still makes it, it's still an old school part of the game that still should be there, and people can still take part in it and still make some money from it.
I think most importantly as well, what comes with Barrows is the runes. It's quite easy to forget that because it's in the normal game anyway. But by disabling Barrows, we're limiting the number of runes coming in game. Enabling Barrows, people can start maging early on, which we didn't really see the last season. Yeah. We're happy with the change we made last season. We identified a few things, like we want to see more people fighting. So with runes comes the rune pouch. We're increasing the drop rate of emblems acquired through Wilderness Slayer and Wilderness Boss.
That's a good change to make, because rune pouch will make a massive difference, especially those people early that get ancient magics unlocked and they can...
Well, Ancient Magic's 2 weeks in.
I was about to
But no, for bind, if you're maging, that inventory space in demo mode, if you die, if you get caught in combat, you can't just go to a bank and just get away very easily. So having that extra inventory space for food makes a huge difference.
Yep. So 1 week in, we launched like a 6-hour immunity period where we'll start to unlock all quests. I believe we're going to be doing a midnight 6-hour stream.
Yes, we are.
We're going to make our own JMod account and play through the season with the immunity.
That's awesome. I look forward to that.
We have some really exciting content to come even before the end of the year. But I do believe it is finally time to wrap things up here, guys. The next season has started. So many thousands of players already in-game enjoying the new season. Looking forward to seeing what it brings to the next tournament. But before we can go, thanks are necessary. So thank you. Not congratulating you. You can cheers over it. Yeah, well done, guys.
Cheers.
I mean, I was gonna. Ian kind of pointed at the drink and was like, "Let's do a cheers."
All right.
And I was like, "Oh, Ian, I actually have none left." So
cheers
There
to
you
our
go.
casters. You guys did an incredible job as always. Pure Spam, do you want to plug your Twitter? Twitch, anything?
At Ian Spam or on Twitch, twitch.tv/Pure Spam. I'll be playing the seasonal tomorrow and streaming it daily, so come check it out and come catch up with me as well.
And my Twitter is just @Skidler, SKIDDLER, or at Twitch, it's twitch.tv/SkidlerRS. Unfortunately, I can't get that name changed to just the Skidler, so we're still SkidlerRS.
One day. Well done to you guys, of course, and well done to our newest casters, actually, Mod Sween and Mod Aiza, who's now behind the scenes.
Props to Aiza. He took the reins super well.
Yeah. You guys did an incredible job.
You both did, yeah.
Absolutely. Very pleasant to listen to. I think this tournament was commentated very, very nicely.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done, guys.
Cheers for having us as well.
Yeah.
Great
It's always a
opportunity.
pleasure.
Yeah.
And one last final thank you, actually 2, or maybe even 3, final thank yous to the ESL UK Studio One here in Leicester. They always do an incredible job. I expect nothing but the best from them. I love the confetti as well, so thank you. And lastly, guys, thank you to the audience and the viewers. Thank you, guys. That being said, guys, we'll say a final farewell and we'll see you in the next season.